open. The bus driver looks at you and he just goes to close the doors.
Oh,
again.
shit, Brian, you ruined it.
Okay. I'm going to shove the dildo in the door so it won't close.
Make a dexterity check.
A dexterity check? Got it.
Yeah.
I got a 12.
Okay.
All right. You wedge that dildo right between those doors and the bus driver says, "Hey man, you can't be doing that here. I don't get paid enough to deal with this whatever you're."
Sir,
God, smell. I can smell them from here, man.
we'll make sure that we'll keep him in his pocket. He won't smoke it anymore.
I won't smoke the dildo. You know what? To tell you the truth, and I don't like the litter, I'll throw the dildo on the ground. Just let me on the bus. Okay?
Thank you for being reasonable.
Yeah, we're going to be reasonable now.
That's actually, yeah, we should have, yes.
Okay. All right. Fine. Again, I don't get paid enough for this, so yeah. Just throw the dildo on the ground.
Quick question, Katie. Has anybody ever used a dildo to that quite that useful effect in Dungeons and Dragons before?
I mean, I'm sure somebody's used a dildo at some point in Dungeons and Dragons.
I mean, but that was a brilliant. Like, I'm on the bus now. As we're on the bus, I'm like, wasn't it brilliant what I did with that dildo? And everybody, and then I'm gonna speak for everybody else, and they're like, "Yeah, you're smart, dude. You're like the smartest."
Seats away.
Yeah, you're like, well, yeah, and then you're like, you're the smartest guy in this crew. That's like basically for the people watching. Basically, for the bus ride, Brett or Ace Cannon, Anais, and Yakub tell me how smart I am and strong I am.
No, we don't.
And then we'll get to where we're going.
Speak for yourself.
They can decide that for themselves.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
You aren't in charge of the game.
Murder Brian's head has just gone to a different place in which you are all telling him how cool and smart he is. And he's just like doing that thing where you stare out the window of the bus and you're not even really watching stuff go by. You're just like kind of blankly staring.
Also strong, also heavy strength. Like they're like, God, you are muscular, So, okay, now I'm ready. I'm ready to move on. I'm just thinking about how muscular I am. You probably hear people constantly talking about this horrible thing called capitalism.
I have.
Yeah, you've heard that?
Yes.
You're like, what? How does capitalism affect me? I will tell you, it runs your entire fucking life. You've probably heard of socialism or communism. Communism. And they say they try to control your entire life. Your whole day is taken away from you. What control do you have over your day now?
Most people have to be chained to a desk for 40 hours a week and they're not allowed to leave.
When you wake up in the morning and you feel like shit and you have to wipe the sleep from your eyes and like look around and be like, why does this have to happen this early in the morning? That's a capitalism.
And it controls everything, like your healthcare, your education. It all comes down to making money, but some things just don't make money. Honestly, ask yourself, how afraid are you of getting an injury and how that could possibly fuck up your life?
Yeah. You're being stopped from skateboarding, breakdancing, doing anything fun, because if you get injured, you're fucked forever. You can't go to work.
And so then you have all these people that say, well, we can make a kinder capitalism, a more conscious capitalism. It isn't gonna fucking happen. We need anarchy, we need socialism, we need communism, we need anything but more capitalism.
But wait, Brett. When you go to the grocery store, you have almost unlimited choice. You can buy 100 different types of cereals.
All made from the same stuff with different graphics on the outside.
All corn. It's basically just a bunch of boxes of corn.
That's capitalism.
It actually treats about 1% of the population like humans, and the rest of us like tools for those superhumans. You don't have any money, your bank account's low? I know where the money is. Jeff Bezos has it, the Waltons have it.
And they took it from us, right?
They took it from us.
We're just getting our money back.
Yeah, your work made that money. You deserve that money. That's your money. The 1% has never decided to do the right thing. That's why we have to take power and just spread it out among the 100% of people that exist. Polite about it.
It's just not the polite way to have sex.
That's just really one way to have sex that's polite, and it's to say, ma'am, or sir, or non-binary person, would you like to enjoy some making love with me? And then if they answer yes, then you mount that person and you move back and forth politely, and then you kind of finish it up and you say that was great, and then you never mention it again. That's the right way to have sex, okay?
And folks, and that's why we don't do any sort of sex advice or sex stuff on this show, because there's none to be given.
I am wise.
I want you to write the polite sex book, like the proper polite method.
I just said it.
I mean, I tell you what, even the jobs that paid me nothing, like when I was first learning them, it was like, all right, I can do this. You just need somebody to get the plates and make them go from here to here. I can be the master of that. I was really into that, and I can do that. But after a while, it's like, you guys treat me like shit, and I get the plates from here to here every fucking time, and you talk down to me and shit. What's going on?
Jesus,
you're counting my lunches. Like, you're looking at what I'm eating. You're like figuring out when I'm going out to smoke. Like, all of a sudden, you're in my shit. But all you said you wanted from me was the plates to go from here to here, and I'm getting the plates from here to here.
God, that was the most accurate representation of how I feel when I get a job. At first, I'm helpless. I'm a little baby. I'm sucking off the tea to the manager to tell me what I need to do. You know, I don't want to, my wings aren't fully formed yet. And then once I learn what I'm doing, I'm like, y'all could treat me a lot better for this. I deserve a lot more for this.
Wow, this is some bullshit right here. Now that you kicked me out of the nest and I'm flying through the sky and trying to flap my wings here, I don't think you're giving me enough.
I don't like this.
You didn't set me up right.
How many times have you gone into work and then looked at your boss and said, what are they doing? You ever think about the levels at a job, Brett? Of course, the people on the very bottom. What do?
Usually clean.
Yeah, and then there is the people just above them. They're the ones that do the second hardest job at the place, right?
Deal with customers?
Yeah, that sort of thing. And then there's another level above that, and that's the manager that's in the place. Now let's think about what comes after that, right? You might have a guy named like Glenn that comes to your office every 6 months, and you have to lay out the red carpet for Glenn. Think about what the person above Glenn does. Jerry is the person above Glenn, right?
Okay.
His job is basically going to lunch, right?
Yeah, powerful meetings, shaking hands real hard.
We're gonna go up to the CEO now. The people that sit around a table and who knows what they're doing? Nobody knows what they talk about.
Playing cards.
What connection does that person have to what you do and what the customer gets? It just seems like you could really chop like 5 or 6 levels off of any job and the company would still run perfectly.
Think about your job. Now imagine your manager isn't there. How much smoother would your day run?
I mean, how many of you work a job where you don't even know who the fucking CEO is of the company? That means they're absolutely useless. They're parasites.
They're on the top, getting most of the money, sending their kids to private school, driving the fanciest cars, and they can't make a sandwich. Every new level of hierarchy is more money coming out of your paycheck. Unions are fucking great because it's not HR.
You need solidarity with the other workers. We need to use that and exercise that. You and your other workers are the most important people at that company. I mean, hell, the way I think about it, maybe you don't get a union at all and you just take the whole company away from the bosses, and that's called a co-op.
For the almighty dollar, everyone's a slave. Cause what's the point of doing shit if you ain't getting paid?
What else is in the room? What can I rifle? Is there anything left for me? Can I check under the mattress in his bed and see if there's any, gold that I can keep all for myself?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. What do I roll here?
Investigation.
I'm gonna investigate real quick. I'm gonna check under his mattress. I mean, at the very least, you might find his porno. Wait a minute. 19.
Oh.
Hey everybody, welcome to Street Fight Radio. I hope you're having a great Sunday night. It's time for Street Fight call-in show. The number to dial to talk to us is 614-655-3887. We want to hear about your work, your organizing, your DARE officer, and any other thing you think we would like to hear. That's what we're here for. We're taking calls from 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time every single Sunday night here at Street Fight Radio. And then Wednesdays you can tune in to our regular basement show where it's just Brian and I looking at crazy media, talking about the news, and mostly just talking about how bad our day was. So tune in for that. Subscribe on all the podcasting apps that you can. Rate and review. That does help us out. And if you got an extra few dollars to kick towards us to help us keep this thing rolling, patreon.com/StreetFightRadio is the place for that. Thank you for being here, everybody.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime, anytime you need me to do a podcast, I'm here.
Glad to have you.
Oh, thank you so much. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I'm pretty wore out. It was a crazy weekend.
Yeah, we're both pretty tired tonight, that I will say. But generally within an hour of the beginning of the show, I wake up. So we will have that to look forward to.
Yeah, I feel I'll probably feel the same.
Yeah, you just end up on some weird upswing, especially when you're not performing live. Like when you're performing live regularly, it's hard to get up for the podcast. But when it's been over a year since you've been on stage, this is stage.
Yeah.
So my adrenaline will kick in at some point.
Yeah, yesterday I have these shroom chocolate bars that I make. And I started going on a walk, and I took one bite, and then after like 10 or 15 minutes, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I took the second one, and then I finally ate all of it. And I walked around for like 3 hours. I did 20,000 steps.
That is like a little less than half of one of my walks. So that is a walk.
It was huge.
That's a real one.
Yeah, it was a lot. And I was having a ton of fun. Had my headphones on. I was singing really loud in the middle of residential neighborhoods, and it was wonderful. But I was so fucking tired when I got home. And then I rushed to do something else, and I just am real far behind. So I'm going to sleep like a brick tonight.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired myself, I do have to say I almost overdrew the bank account today.
Ooh.
First time in well over a year. And, it's not my fault this time. I said, don't go to the grocery store till I let you know I got paid. But also, Brett doesn't have internet because he's been trying to get internet for 6 weeks now and was not able to pay yet. So my wife went against my judgment, came $14 away.
Woo!
$14 away from those overdraft fees. And I was like, whoo, buddy. Woo. You got lucky there. I mean, I think my worst nightmare for her is to have the card declined. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't think that can happen anymore with my bank unless it already went over. You know what I'm saying? Like if you spent money and it went over and then you tried to swipe again, it would decline you. But it might not even do that because they love those fees, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're looking for fees.
Yeah, they want fees. Them boys want them fees.
Yeah, I am thinking about calling the internet one last time because I got my bill before I got my internet. I already have a bill.
You were telling me about this earlier, and I have to let you know that internet is not like electricity. It is not use-based, and they charge you before your internet service. You see what I'm saying? It's not after, it's before. A lot of people don't know that. And it's not really useful information, but it is like they are charging you before you. They're charging you for the month you're about to use rather than the month you just used.
Right, and I can't use it though.
Yeah, they shouldn't be able to charge you until you're. They shouldn't be able to charge you until you're on the internet.
Right.
So I agree with you. I was just telling you that's probably what they're going to say to you.
Sure.
But also, they'll probably give you a credit. Are you like getting TV?
No.
Wow.
Why would I get TV?
I don't know. I've been thinking about getting TV lately.
YouTube TV is TV.
It is. I guess it is.
What are you missing?
I don't know. I don't know. I just keep thinking, like, should I get TV again? I think I just hear people talk about having TV on the radio, and I'm like, oh, I wouldn't mind having TV again. But I really don't need it, and I would never use it. That's the other thing. I don't even watch that much TV.
You want to endlessly scroll through, like, syndicated sitcoms or something?
True. No, I don't want TV. Sometimes, like, they tempt you. They send you, like, deals. They're like, hey, here's a fucking deal for TV. And you're like, oh, that is a deal for TV. And then you're like, but I don't need TV. Like, I have all the TV I could ever. I don't think there's any more TV I need. I need Stars. Okay. If you want to send me your Stars password out there, you will have gotten me everything I've ever wanted, I believe. Because there's nothing else. I have Showtime, I have HBO, Hulu, Netflix, YouTube TV, several podcasts. Like, I just everything. Well,
there's always something you don't have that you can want. If you want to feel like you're missing out. Yeah.
And it's also funny because Stars sucks. Like, what would I ever do with Stars?
Yeah.
Has anybody ever wanted Stars?
You can watch Daddy Daycare, maybe.
Yeah. People like Stars when they don't have Stars. That's the greatest, the thing that the cable companies had on you back in the day, that was that, like, you could scroll through the guide, and, like, I think most people, when they got cable, they got a premium channel. They're like, I want a premium, you know? But usually HBO. It's most of the time HBO. Generally psycho if you get anything else other than, like, if you got Showtime without HBO or Cinemax without HBO, you usually get HBO. But what I would do is I would be scrolling through when I was working for the company. I had all the channels, and I'm like, these poor suckers don't even have the movie channel. You know what I mean? Or Encore Westerns.
Who?
Encore Westerns?
Who doesn't have that?
Just everybody, most people. If you work for the cable company, you get everything plus half off on pay-per-views.
Got it.
So
Riku 2K13 in the chat says they're a freak family that has Stars but not HBO.
That's freaky. That's scary that you're out there.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's scary. What are you doing with Stars? Watching American Gods, maybe. Or that 50 Cent show. Which I've thought about watching the 50 Cent show, to tell you the truth. 50 Cent has a TV show on Stars.
Yeah.
Where he's like, it's called Power.
Yeah, it's been around.
Yeah, it sounds good. People seem to like it. I'll probably get to it eventually. I get to everything. You know, I gotta get done with Billions first before I can learn what Power is.
Is Billions over?
Oh, no. I'm only in halfway through season 2, and there's 5 so far and 1 coming out. So I got a lot of Billions.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I wanted to tell you, though, so recently he was going into a very high-powered... what it was he was being deposed about some shit. He had to do a deposition. And the way that he got amped up for the deposition was listening to Megadeth and putting on his favorite Megadeth t-shirt, and then he showed up at the deposition in a Megadeth t-shirt.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. So they're trying to ruin thrash metal.
Well, that's their big thing, is like, this guy is a fucking, yeah, he's a hedge fund guy, but he came up, he started from nothing.
Right.
Hence, he likes Metallica and Rainbow and Megadeth and stuff like that. Like that's kind of what they're getting at with the show. Is that, like, you know, a regular hedge fund guy that inherited his money, he probably listens to, like, what, Beethoven's Fifth or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This guy doesn't do that. This guy, you know, he's into heavy metal, and it's a calculated choice, I feel. Like, when I saw it, I was just like, but I don't think that this show is intended to make billionaires look cool or good or bad. Well, no, it's intended to make them look cool, but not good. You know what I mean? Like, they're scuzzy in the show, but you know, not cool. They're not cool dudes. I mean, again, you know, it's just, I just don't have anything else to do at night.
Right.
I gotta watch a show. Because what if I tried to watch a movie? This is why I do shows. Because if I had to look for movies every night, that would be stressful.
Because it's like, oh, I'm going to watch a movie. What movie am I going to watch? And then I just scroll through looking for movies all night. This has something loaded up in the clip every time I sit down, you know? So,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we got through your TV habits here.
yeah, well, you know, that's what I do. So you took a good walk. It was a little chilly yesterday for a good walk.
Yeah, it was perfect weather.
Yeah, it was
Because
good.
once you heated up, it was it wasn't hot. It wasn't sweltering.
I didn't get to take one yesterday because I was at the in-laws. I saw a few interesting things there. A Trump 2024 sticker,
Oh.
which is really ambitious and got me thinking. These guys love him. Like, God, I'm trying to, like, I was like thinking like a rock star.
Yeah.
Like a rock star that they've loved their whole life. Like the way that like a person would get about like somebody that like was there when Black Sabbath released their first album and they heard it and they like discovered it and then like followed Black Sabbath through the whole career. And Ozzy, they would love Ozzy. They have this unreasonable kind of love for Ozzy.
Right.
And this guy pulls up. He's got a truck with a Trump 2024 sticker, one of those magnetic ribbons that's Trump something.
Okay.
Which I find magnetic ribbons to be cowardly. You're going to put a sticker on your car. You don't do a magnet, okay? I just think that's cowardly. You know, if you're going to make it, you can't just, you don't want to just, so anyway.
That's true. It's not a permanent statement.
Yep. Then he walks in with a t-shirt, and I thought it was a Pink Floyd The Wall t-shirt, but it said Donald Trump build the wall.
Oh, no. And was it stylized like an album cover?
Mm-hmm. Like The Wall.
It would look like The Wall.
Exactly like The Wall. And I just was like, I'm not trying to say, this is not, I don't want people to take this the wrong way. But I'm going to say it anyway, because I said it to Katie and Gwen and Rachel in the car. I said, I fully believe that if Trump asked that guy to blow him, he would do it. Like, I don't like to make jokes like that and shit, but as soon as I saw how much like Trump shit he had around, I was just like, I think he's in love with Donald Trump. Like, I think he loves him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, romantically.
Yes. Or in a way.
He has a crush. He has a real big crush.
Exactly. In a way that I could never understand as a politician. Like, looking at a politician. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I could never look at a guy that was president or a woman or a non-binary, anybody that was president and be that in love with them. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
It looks bad. It looks terrible. You look bad. You look like a crazy person.
Exactly, dude.
You're worshiping somebody.
You're like a fucking guy that wears a different Metallica shirt every day.
Like Billions.
As a statement. Yeah, but no, I'm saying every day as a statement. Where you're like, oh, man, you know, you're the guy at work that wears a Metallica shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just a different one every day. And everybody is like, your whole image at work is like tied up into how much you like Metallica, and like you're always quoting Metallica songs and stickers, and everybody is just like, he's the Metallica guy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a Trump guy. Like that is sad to me. That made me sad to see.
I bet he feels bad for you.
What?
I bet he feels bad for you too.
I don't know. I guess. Also found out that my in-laws have a Trump bumper sticker on their headboard.
No. 16-year-olds, you can't put stickers on the damn furniture.
Buddy, I fucking am 100% with you on that. I would never put a sticker on my furniture. Okay?
I'm just imagining them going to town on each other and keep rolling. Like, I want to be on top. I want to see the sticker.
And
they're just fighting for top position.
I just like pictures of Trump
like cut out of the newspaper or like printed and then cut out like paper dolls all over the house and shit.
Yeah, this would be like a Criminal Minds app.
I do feel
the
like
level of obsession.
we should take them and have them looked at, or maybe throw them in jail or something like that. Just because I'm like worried.
Jail.
Yeah, I'm kind of just worried about them in a way where it's like, wow, you really fucking like this guy. It's unfucking believable. I mean, they have a Keep America Great Again flag and the Trump Rambo flag flying outside of their house.
Okay.
So that is already like a thing. They got the stickers on the car, on the headboard, on the refrigerator, Trump quotes all over the house. And as I've said before, Trump memes in a photo album that they have that they just printed out like Trump memes and put them in a photo album. And I gotta fucking tell you, dude, I walked in there yesterday and her fucking dad was sitting in a chair watching a like 9 Line Apparel podcast.
Watching
on YouTube, watching them.
Like the filming of it,
filming of it, and fucking with mid-roll ads, like not YouTube, like the ads just come on in the middle of it and just cut it off, and he's willing to sit through those fucking ads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's really, really mind blowing. I have never felt that. I never felt that way about anybody in my life. Nobody. Maybe. Okay. With a caveat here. Okay. I do love the people that I'm around. I love my wife. I love Gwen. I love Brett. I love all these people. Right. I truly do. But there is not a single person that I've never met that I love at all. Like, I don't have any feelings for people that I've never met since I was 14 and I fell in love with Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
Like, that's the last time I've ever had feelings like that. So, I don't know, man. I was blown away because it seems like it's even getting away from them now. Like, it has gotten to the point where when you're framing pictures of the ex-president and hanging them on your wall with your family, that's too much. That is.
They love their country.
You've moved way down the line, you know? So I mean, somebody in the chat asked, what do I think about stickers on laptops? Dude, I'm totally okay with stickers on everything. Dude, I don't even care if you put fucking stickers on your headboard. I wouldn't expect you to put a fucking, like a politician sticker on your headboard. That's just a fucking weird place for a fucking 70-year-old person. That's a weird way for a 70-year-old to act. That's a weird fucking way for somebody that's celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary to be that in love with Donald fucking Trump, dude. Donald Trump, of all the fucking people in this world, you know? It's Ben Franklin, it's Thomas Jefferson, and it's Donald Trump in that house. And the Ohio State Buckeyes, but now that he's more racist, he doesn't even like football anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the racism canceled his love of football. He's just like, I can't watch it. I have all these racist feelings about it. I'm just going to watch more podcasts.
I wanted to say, actually, my opinion on laptops is they have to have stickers on them. I think you have to put your stickers on your laptop for the stuff that you like.
I don't have any stickers on my laptop.
Yeah, you defaced it with a fucking pen.
I wrote corn rules on it.
Yeah.
With a Z and an exclamation point. That's the only sticker I have. But yeah, it was crazy. It was wild. You know, one of my other in-laws comes rolling in there with, or one of my brother-in-laws comes rolling in there with a fucking snapback hat on backwards, and
hey, that's what I'm wearing.
He's 50.
Hey, I'm gonna be 50 eventually too, and look just like this.
And the bill was flat, like totally flattened.
I'm gonna hide my hat from you now. I didn't realize I had a fashion faux pas.
I just think once you're past like 30, you have to bend the bill of your hat.
No.
Yep. Hey, everybody that's listening, if you're past 30, you have to bend the bill of your hat.
You're a bad dad that takes the new hat and like wraps a Coke can around it and put a rubber band on. You're like, you fucking ruined it, Dad.
Yeah, I do. I go like this. For the people in the chat, I do this. So, I did get a video yesterday for people.
Nice and I'm flat. I'm putting mine the opposite way now.
Oh my
Get
God.
it real flat.
I paid so much for this hat and I don't have a flat bill. You know what I mean? I as soon as I got this hat that I paid a bunch of money for, I bent the bill.
You look like you're playing b-ball.
What?
You're playing baseball.
Yeah. Well, I also, at least I don't put like a fish hook on it. You know how you used to put a fish hook right here?
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is like for dudes with dip cans in their back pocket.
Yeah.
Which there was a time where I was going to start, when I was really into raw denim, I was going to start carrying dip cans in my back pocket so that I could get the outline of the dip can in the back pocket. I chickened out.
You should have just got bubble tape or something.
Bubble tape would be good. Or what's that other thing? I like the beef jerky that like, it's like pencil shavings, but it's beef jerky that you're not supposed to swallow.
Oh yeah, the little snooze, the little beef jerky snooze,
Beef
chipped
snooze.
beef. Or what? Yeah, we used to get that all the time. Just get a mouthful of beef.
I will say this too. I took some pictures of the food yesterday.
Oh man,
And
you're mean.
posted them on the internet.
Oh no.
Well,
Have they ever
first
been
off-
memeified?
First off, the one thing I took a picture of, I made fun of my wife for making anyway. And she described it to you. It's called like crack sauce or something. I don't really know. It's one of those cracks.
Yeah, it's called crack dip.
Crack dip. And it looks hideous.
Cream cheese, sour cream, a ranch packet, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and scallions.
Yes. Disgust. Just the most hideous thing in the world.
A baked potato without the potato, basically.
Right, with all the worst stuff. And just, I hate everything. Like, because in Ohio, there's about 17 recipes called crack. There's cowboy crack. There's crack fucking everything. So then the other thing that I took a picture of was just beef sticks. They had like beef, like it looked like a Slim Jim cut into more pieces, you know? I know what it is. It's like summer sausage, but it's like the worst of it. And I just took a picture of that and the dip, and people were just like, what in the fuck? And I'm like, I didn't even take a picture of the other foods. You know what I mean? I could have taken a picture of some.
Should have got the whole spread. Should have made a big plate and taken a picture.
I didn't eat the whole time I was up. Actually, they got insulted because I pulled, because what happened was I pulled a banana out of my backpack and just started eating it. And then they were like, oh, you're not going to eat anything? And I was like, oh, no, I brought cashews. And I pulled cashews out of my bag. Just started eating. Everything I ate was out of my backpack.
Yeah.
So, but I'm dieting, so they understood. I said I've been dieting for 2 weeks, and they were like, "How much weight have you lost?"
Yeah, it takes a while.
So
Takes more than that.
that's my life, man. It was a wild day. I think like I also wanted to just for a caller, if the callers wanted to say this or wanted to call in with this. I'm not going to read the story because we're going to do it on Wednesday night. But one of my favorite scams that people do is say that they're a famous person to get like free drinks at hotels and shit like that. Like there was a guy saying he was Kid Rock down in Myrtle Beach, which, I mean, they're going to give you the keys to the city in Myrtle Beach if you're Kid Rock.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
American Badass.
Yeah, I mean, you could get the fucking mayor on the phone at a fucking drop of a hat, you know?
Yeah.
Or the guy, the genius. I think this person should be in the Smithsonian Institute. He should have a plaque in the Smithsonian Institute. But the guy who went around saying he was Corey Taylor from Slipknot. And he just got free drinks, free hotels. He got all kinds of shit. And you can't even fucking prove he's not Corey Taylor until Stone Sour came out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they were masked up. So I read a story yesterday, and we're going to talk about it on Wednesday, about a guy that got busted because for 8 years he's been saying he was in the Wu-Tang Clan. And I only read the headline so far, and I have to say, fucking genius move. Because there's so many people in the Wu-Tang Clan. This guy, they said he probably really realistically made off with, I think, $250,000 in stuff.
Wow.
Saying he was in the Wu-Tang Clan. And it's just like, to me, I think that is a magnificent scam. I just think it's the best kind of scam that you could ever possibly do. And I would, if you're going to call in tonight, you know, let us know, like, if maybe there's a celebrity you would like to pretend to be, or if you've ever heard of somebody, you know, pulling a scam like this. I'm very interested in this, and I love it. And yes, everybody in the chat right now is saying Daft Punk, and Daft Punk is a good move.
Yes.
Are they British?
They're Frenchy French.
They're French?
Yeah.
So really, I mean, but how many people know they're French? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's the thing, though, is like saying you're in the Wu-Tang, there is a lot of members, but for anybody that likes the Wu-Tang Clan, they can say them all. So you would run into a lot of trouble.
But I mean, even then, though, dude, even then, Capadonna, he's not like necessarily in the Wu-Tang Clan.
Affiliated.
He's just in like 90% of their songs. So you could just make up a name.
Sure.
I mean, you could fucking seriously, dude. You could go to a hotel and say, I'm you, God, from Wu-Tang Clan. And what are they really going to fucking say?
We need your money to pay for the room. We don't give hotels to people just because they're famous.
I mean, sometimes they do, though, apparently. Because this guy got free hotels, free car rentals, restaurants, and shit like that. So
maybe he promised to pay it later, or I don't know. I don't know why. I guess people like to pamper celebrities if they meet them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Somebody just, oh, actually, I can't look at this because it's YouTube. But let's take some calls. Let's have somebody said, say you're in TSO. That is the New World Order in the chat said, what about say you're in TSO? I would do that. That is.
What's TSO?
But you probably need long hair. Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're not a legend, though.
Yeah, you are.
TSO are legends?
Yeah.
You think they can go anywhere they want and get free hotels?
I think they can get free drinks. And, like, I think they can go anywhere they want and get their meal comped, get free drinks. They could get in the high roller suite at the casino. I think if they were in Vegas, they would get treated very nicely and probably get free hotel rooms and shit. I do believe that. Because in Vegas, they throw comps around anyway. I'm fucking 100% sure that TSO could 100% get pretty much anything they want in Las Vegas, is my belief. You know? And I think that's really where the scam works the best, is in places like Vegas, Myrtle Beach, stuff like that. Because, like, people want to believe in those places. Like, nobody in Ohio, if I went to the hotel in Ohio and I said I'm fucking some guy from Trans-Siberian Orchestra, or as somebody else said, Blue Man Group, if I went in and said that, they would say, no, you're not. Like, what are you even doing in Columbus? What are you even doing in Ohio? Right?
Sure.
But if I show up to, Circus and I get up to the counter and I'm like, yeah, I'm Steve Vai from Chicken Foot. I play guitar. I'm like really good at it. They might hook you up, I don't know how the scam works.
It sounds like a 10-year-old, I think, reasoning.
I don't know how the scam works. Maybe you have to have somebody I could send you in and you could say you're my manager.
Yeah.
And then be like, don't look him in the eye.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then you could do it. Yep. That's just a guess. It's a good scam. Good scam. I'm proud. I can't wait to read it on Wednesday. We'll have a really good time with it. Got some real grifters and hucksters for the show Wednesday.
I got one here too. We can check it out, but the gist of it, who posted it in the chat here? I lost it. Johann Bratwurst. There's a band named Peking Duck, apparently.
Yeah.
And
somebody edited the Wikipedia page to say that they were related to them so they could get backstage into the show.
Yeah. See, I mean, all kinds of stuff. I mean, why would they have your relatives on your Wikipedia? That's
They
so
put them
funny.
on there.
Oh, yeah, they do, don't they?
Yeah,
Up
they
in
say
the
spouses,
square
children,
area. Yeah. I get what you're saying. That is genius. Hey. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's like
I just took the first
LAMO.
call.
Oh, no, what's up? Hello? Are you on mute?
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hello?
Who's this?
Hey, this is Andrew from Massachusetts.
What's up, Andrew? How's it going?
It's going all right. Could I get a quick shout out to the IWW? Because we just formed a branch in Worcester, Mass. So
Awesome. Congratulations.
That's
Give it
cool.
up for the IWW if you're in your car or just in the chat. Everybody cheer for it.
IWW.
Oh, wait, I gotta say, I'm sorry. I don't mean to throw you off track here. Somebody said everyone is too good for chicken foot. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say chicken foot is a super group, is what I wanted to explain. So nobody's too good for them. They're large. Everybody in it's famous. So what's going on tonight?
Nothing much. Finishing up college in a week soon. So I want to ask, like, what advice do you have for like living out on your own for the first time? Because I'm trying to find jobs and a place to live that isn't my parents. So
Do you? I mean,
you got any advice?
I think one of my very first advice I like to give people that are moving out for their first time is this is just me, and Brett might have a different answer. Try to have one paycheck. If let's just say for the sake of easiness, you get paid twice a month. Okay, one paycheck cover your car, and then have money left over, and then the other paycheck cover your rent plus $500. That's where you want to fucking be, because like a lot of times people will let rent eat up a full check, and I think I have done that. And that is a dangerous fucking game when you're like, okay, so I'll just use one check for rent and one check for everything else, and then whatever's left over will be my spending money. But a lot of times, like I went through a time where like whatever was left over was $200, and it's like that's not very much spending money. I would like a lot more spending money than that. Also, just like if you have time, it's a very good idea to make sure you have all your furniture and shit like that before you move, so you're not buying it in a mad rush.
Oh yeah.
But Brett just moved, so he probably he's basically in your same situation now because he's starting fresh. So what do you got, Brett?
I don't know. I think it was pretty good advice with the rent thing. Really, the biggest mistake young people make is with money, and I did it. Everybody does it. But the faster you can figure out how to make a budget and stick to it, the easier life will be. Like I wish I didn't have crazy stories of having like 12 hours to come up with money and trying to sell shit or flip shit or racing to get to drop a check off at 5:59 so that I didn't get evicted and shit like that. The money is everything. Money decides who you are and what you can do. We talk about it on the show all the time. So yeah, definitely plan for way less and don't budget every single dollar that you think you're going to have coming in.
I've always felt really strong. I have always felt really strongly about this, and it sounds shit, but like the best, I think one of the best things you can do for yourself in the beginning is like temper your expectations for where you're going to live. Like if you're looking to move and you probably are, and I'm not telling you not to. I'm not trying to crush your dream. But if you're looking to move to the most expensive part of town, because that's like where everybody moves, you should make that your second place so that you have the experience of like, I lived So all my life, I knew I wanted to live downtown. When I was in 5th grade, I would tell people I want to move to New York. And then, like, as I got a little older, I realized that's not realistic for me. But then I was like, as I got older, I said, I want to live downtown. And I always knew I wanted to live downtown. I always knew I wanted to live where I could walk to places and get stuff done. But my first, probably until I think I was 26 when I finally moved downtown. Because I just lived in the suburbs because I was learning how to live. And I was learning, like, my rent at that time, before I moved downtown, my rent was $475 a month. And I made probably $2,500 a month at that time. And I was still always struggling to make my rent because things fill the holes. Like, you will never realize how things start to fill up all the holes in your budget. It becomes a very weird thing. So my best advice for anybody that's just moving out is to just, like, the first place is not going to be good. It's kind of like your first car, where it's like your first car is probably going to be a piece of shit, and that's a good thing. And you know, if you're alone, I would just get a fucking studio. I've always felt like a 1-bedroom or a studio apartment is so perfect for your first time moving out. When I first moved out, I moved into a 2-bedroom, and the second bedroom was completely empty because I didn't have money to buy any furniture for the second bedroom.
Yeah.
But groceries cost so much now. Like, if you were to ask me what your grocery bill's gonna be, it's like your grocery bill for one person, I think, is probably going to be $150. I mean, I'm sure people in the chat might disagree with me, but like groceries, just like you're going to be like, oh, I could probably eat for what, $70 a week, and it's like it never ends up like that. So like it's just really my greatest piece of advice for you is just make sure you have $500 left over after all is said and done. And you can really, if you have $500 left over, that will make you comfortable. It will plug the holes when things come up in your budget, and you know, it'll make your life easier. Your apartment might be a shithole, but you'll have $500, and that feels good.
Yeah, also, don't just take any place that'll accept you. Make sure you investigate. Look for water damage, moldy stuff, carpet that's old as fuck. Don't just take a slummy place. You know, there's always a good deal to be found. It just takes a lot more searching than you want it to.
Google the address, too, man, because, like, my landlords are pretty cool now, but I've had some pretty psycho landlords in the past. And you know, we get a lot of calls on here from people with crazy landlords. And it's like, and somebody in the chat also says leaky windows. For real, touch the windows when you go to look at the house. Tap on the windows and see if they're more than like a cup that you have in your house, because like apartments will often have like the worst windows and just the worst stuff. But Brett's right, like look at a bunch of different places, but like get in your mind what you want. Like my requirements for an apartment, because I rent, I'm never gonna buy, but my requirements for an apartment are central air conditioning, and that's it. I don't care about fucking anything else, dude. I don't have a dishwasher. I haven't had a dishwasher in 2 decades. I don't have, like, I have a washer and dryer, but I buy used ones. I have hookups. Like, my apartment came with shit. And, like, all I care about is central air conditioning. And that's the best way to go about it. And, again, as somebody said in the chat, take a slummy place if it's really inexpensive. Just for a year. Just really tell yourself, I lived above a Mexican restaurant for 6 months. And not only was it a miserable experience, it was 200 degrees because I was above the kitchen. My rent was $185 a month, which is, you know, at the time I was like, what a fucking great deal. $185 a month. Like, how is it this already taken? You know what I mean? But every Tuesday and Thursday was reggae night at this place, and a guy would be out on the front patio playing reggae music until 2 a.m. And it made it very hard to sleep. It didn't have air conditioning, so during the summer it got unbearably hot. And also they locked me out because I was late on my rent. And me, Jason, and a friend of mine had to go and kick the door in and take all the stuff we could get out of it. And that was a scary situation. The helicopter was flying around. They thought we were doing a home invasion. A guy came up to us with a fucking badge around his neck. Like he was undercover. They fucking sent him over because they were like, there's no cop near. So this guy just shows up and he's like, hey, police, what are you guys, you know, like freaked out. And then I had the lease in my hand. I showed him the lease. He was like, just take it then. I mean, it's your place, you know, but Jason kicked the door in to get in. So just, you know, like I said, Google the address and Google the management service. But honestly, if you're graduating college, you know, they give you a little bit of time before your student loans come in. And I don't know what you went for. You could have gone for something like I did where you can't get a job. But do you already have a job?
I don't have a job lined up. I'm just looking at places at the moment.
Tech? Are you in tech?
I am going to be graduating with a physics degree. So hopefully I can try to find a decent paying job.
Okay.
But I'll have to see.
Just really, you know, like we said, $500. Just always think like, I want $500 that's not being spent. And you will always be safe. Because really, emergencies don't come up that very often that cost more than like $200. That's how I feel. That's how I do things. So you'll be good. I think you'll be good. I mean, even just the fact that you're asking for advice is more than I ever did. You know, I got kicked out, so I just had to find a place. But even just asking for advice is like a step in the right direction. I think you're going to be okay.
All right. Thanks.
Hey, no problem. Have a good night. Do you have a Twitter or anything?
All right.
Does the IWW have one?
Our chapter doesn't have one yet. We just got like chartered, and it's like crunch time, and like everyone's busy, so we haven't done much yet. But okay, we'll probably have like a Twitter and stuff like that soon. But I think we have a Facebook page, Worcester IWW.
Okay, so cool. If you're in Worcester, join the IWW. It's a good organization. They're really cool. They do real shit. So thanks for calling in.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, thanks for calling me. Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.
God, man, I never asked advice about moving out. I didn't ask a single motherfucking person.
Well, yeah, I didn't really have a choice or anything. It wasn't like an informed decision.
No, I had a choice.
It was just like fleeing in the middle of the night and going wherever I could.
Yeah, you were. We were basically kind of in the same boat. Like I had a choice because I had friends that let me move in with them, and they weren't like anxious to get rent or anything from me or anything like that, or get me to pay any bills. They just kind of liked having me around,
right?
And like, so I had time, and I probably should have asked them, like,
"Hey, what do I need to do?
Hey, what kind of stuff do you need to do to get a place?" You know, I remember when the first place me and Katie got with one of our friends, we moved into this place and did get an electric bill for like 5 months. The first 5 months we lived in a place, and we were like, damn, this is tight. We have like extra money. I didn't think we were going to have this, you know, this kind of money. And come to find out that the rent, it was being sent to the rental office. And the electric company came to us with a $2,000 bill and said, like, we're not giving you a cut on this. You have to pay this. So we had to, you know, go into a payment plan. But it was like, I hate to say it like this, it was like a payment plan on steroids. Because usually you're only like at like $500. So you do the like 1/9 payment plan. And it's like, you know, it's just a little bit more.
$50, $35.
When the thing's $2,500. Like, we just thought we were like getting away with not paying for electricity. Like, they forgot about us. Don't ever do that, folks.
Yeah, they didn't forget.
No, they never forget. If there's a meter on the outside of outside of your house, they don't forget.
Yeah, I also wouldn't move into with anybody that can't get their name on the lease, because they can fuck you over really badly.
Yeah.
And they're not responsible for anything.
Really? Yeah.
My sister had that. My mom co-signed for her something, and then her friend moved in with her but wasn't on the lease, and then
got a fight.
A boyfriend came and like destroyed their whole place, and then Jenna was responsible for repairing the apartment.
That happened to me and Katie, actually. We had a dear friend of mine move in with us. Very, like, one of my best friends all the way through high school. And even afterwards. Just like a person that I thought very highly of. And then he started dating this girl. And Katie did not like her. And she was eating our food. Like, it was like a big, like, you know, we're buying groceries. There's an extra person living here, and they're not paying for any of them, but they're eating them. That becomes problematic when you're broke as fuck. And it ended up being this big thing, and they moved out in the middle of the night and, like, broke a bunch of shit and wrote a bunch of nasty stuff in sidewalk chalk on the outside of the apartment about my wife and shit like that. It was fucking nasty, man.
Yeah, I also lived with one of my best friends. He needed a place to live for a period of time before he was going to school. And the last thing that happened was we had like a huge fight, and I didn't talk to him for probably 5 years. My best friend through high school, the guy that like I did everything with from like 7th grade to 12th grade and even afterwards. Yeah, and then so roommates are don't live with anybody you know, and also strangers you have to really, I don't know how to. If it's your friend, it's your friends, you have to go hang out with them at their house or go look at what their bedroom looks like.
I mean,
surprise them.
True, that's good. Surprise inspection. I will say this: I would live with you. I know 100% that I could live with you.
I think so. Yeah.
But I truly do not think there's anybody else that I can think of. Like, that's how close. What I'm saying is, like, that's how close you have to be to somebody. You have to be like very intimately close to somebody to move in with them. Yeah. Like, a lot of people just think like, oh yeah, no, this dude was cool. Like, back in high school, we used to hang out. Sometimes on Friday nights we go out and smoke weed together and shit like that. It's great. We'll have a really good time. We'll spend all of our time together. We'll watch movies together. We'll fucking have a gravity bong in the living room that's like both of ours.
Communal.
Yeah. And then, like, you're right, man. You move somebody into your house, you're playing with fucking fire, man.
It's easy to hang out with someone for 4 hours. To hang out with someone for like 24 hours, they get on your nerves immediately.
I mean, I moved my sister in, and it was brutal, man. Like, people are messy, dude.
Oh yeah.
And, like, the level of messy, I know, like, I probably come off as a guy that keeps a messy house on the show. You know what I mean? Or just whatever people think of me.
Yeah.
But I keep a very clean house. Like, as in, like, dishes don't sit in the... Like, you will never come over and see dishes just sitting there. Yeah. Because we do them...
Immediately.
We make the bed every night. My wife is crazy about cleaning too. Like, I can't take all the credit for it. She does most of it. But there's no laundry piled up. Right. It's just we're obsessed with, like,
things have their place, and if they don't just get thrown, you don't have a junk table.
No, we don't.
You don't have like a spot to just put things where you don't know what to do with it.
No, well, that's a Katie thing. It's the same thing with making the bed, right? It's like when me and her first started dating, I didn't put any sheets on my bed because I thought it was pointless. Because I just felt like, what, I'm going to lay on sheets? Like, I just kind of saw it as blankets were to be put on top of you.
You laid on the bare mattress?
Yeah.
It wasn't scratchy?
I mean,
bare mattresses are not comfortable to me.
You have got to understand the lifestyle I was living at this time.
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
I had ripped the doors off of my closet in an attempt to block sun from coming into my room because I was tripping and it was 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Like, this apartment was just destroyed. You know, we used to grill in the breezeway. For people that don't know what a breezeway is, it's like where all the doors are in an apartment. So we used to grill there right in the breezeway, and then we would get wasted. I mean, everybody was drunk and like tired and like ready to go to bed. But you couldn't go to bed because the grill was still going, you know? We were like kind of nervous about it catching the breezeway on fire. So we would pee on it to put it out in the breezeway where people have to walk through to get to their apartment. We would also sit on a rock. We would stay up all night on Sunday night because none of us had to work Mondays because we were working at a golf course. We would stay up all night tripping and yelling and acting like fucking maniacs, dude. Like doing things that were beyond the pale of like what an adult person should do. And then as people were driving to work, we would sit on a rock outside and wave to them while they were leaving to go to work in the morning after we just terrorized the neighborhood all fucking night. We would just sit there like, have a good day at work. You know what I mean? At like 8 in the morning. And it was just, the only reason we didn't get evicted is because the girls that worked in the rental office liked us and thought we were cool.
All right. Well, that's all you need. That's all you need.
Yeah. My advice also is to make people think you're cool.
Yeah, that is the best way to get by.
Go ahead, take a call.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Alex from Colorado.
What's up, Alex?
I'm going to take my headphones off because I'm dying.
Yeah, give me 1 second, Alex. New World Order in the chat said, was this in a college town? Now, it would have been acceptable if it was in a college town. Huh? Oh, am I?
That was an echo from him, I think.
Okay. They asked if I'm in a college town, and no, I was in the suburbs. Actually, I was nowhere near the college. I was probably 25 to 30 minutes away from the college in the suburbs in a place where you absolutely should not be acting like that. So, what's going on tonight?
Oh, not much. I just wanted to talk to you guys and everyone about this organization effort that I'm part of.
What is it?
At Colorado State University.
Oh, is it union?
Not quite yet. I don't know. We don't know where we're going to take it. So I'm a graduate student worker, teaching assistant is what I am, but that's kind of a catch-all statement for teaching assistants, research assistants. And we're trying to make more money and not have to pay student fees. So, like, right now I make $1,400 a month. Mm-hmm. And then each semester, so like September and then January, I have to pay $1,200 back for student fees.
Okay.
So, like, what you're talking about with the old make sure you have money left over after your paycheck, those 2 months, I got like $200 for the month.
Fuck. Yeah, I'll be straight with you. Like, my rent is a little over $1,000, and for a good 2 years of Street Fight, we were making $1,400 a month. So, and I was just paying my $1,000 rent with that. And I totally fucking understand like where you're coming from, where it's like, okay, so I have $200 left over. How am I supposed to make this?
What am I eating for the next couple weeks?
Right. And also, like, where are you supposed to live? You know? Like
roommates.
It's roommates. That's true. They do expect you to do roommates. Because I was going to say, like, what rent would you be comfortable with?
Well, so I'm, I took out student loans. This is my second year in school. So, like, I covered that. I'm paying, like, $500 a month with a roommate.
Nice.
So it's not too bad. But, like, the first year, because they don't tell you this shit. They don't tell you about student loans or, like, they're like, yeah, I'll pay for your school. You're a teaching assistant. You're set. So, like, the first 3 months, man, I lost 30 pounds because I was just, like, stressing about money, and then I was, like, not drinking beer because I couldn't afford it. But yeah, so we're a group of graduate students, and we're all kind of experiencing this. So CSU, or Colorado State University, specifically, it's an R1 institution, which means, like, we do a lot of really good research here and put out a lot of, like, pertinent research. And that work is all done by either research assistants or, you know, professors that have their coursework covered by teaching assistants. But compared to other R1 institutions, so, like, I don't know if Ohio State's what they're like with that, but, like, we compete with, you know, down in Boulder, Wyoming, like Iowa State, schools like that. Compared to them, like, they pay us lower than everyone else, and they also have higher fees.
Really?
And yeah, so I mean, it's like a pay to work type thing, you know. Like, with the fees, you're like I said, you're giving most of your first and 6 paycheck back.
Yeah, for sure. Ohio State University is an R1 school.
They are? Okay.
Yeah, I kind of thought they were because they were really proud of their research when I went there. You know, I also worked.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, so as a grad student, you know, we're paid for like 20 hours a week, which would be sick if I had time to pick up another job. But, like, I'm reading fucking 3 books a week, writing papers. Like, there's just, after everything's said and done, working like 60, 70 hours a week.
I mean,
paid for 20 of it.
Are other people, like, are other people working a job? Like, another job is, I guess, like, I know you don't want to, I'm sure this is less than ideal, but a lot of times in a college town, there might be places where you can do your reading and work. I know those jobs come at a premium, and they're probably hard to find, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't really look. Like, I just kind of, you know, I'm used to putting your head down and eating ramen and shit. But, you know, some people, you know, pick up summer jobs and try and save a lot and get by.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, you know, we're all kind of looking around and, like, you know, I just built a new football stadium here. We're fucking not getting what we deserve. So we've got a petition floating around. We're trying to get the president and the board of governors to consider this plan that one of the deans proposed that's like, wants to pay us more, wants to pay us for 12 months instead of just the months we're in school, and then cutting the fees.
I feel like they could cut the fees altogether, really, if you're working.
Right? Yeah, and it's all for stuff, you know, like the rec center's one thing, but, you know, I'm not going to that. COVID.
No.
And then, like, paying for, like, technology fees, they call it. It's like using a printer at the library. I never fucking use that.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there, like, a website or a place that people can look into? Like, is there somewhere where we can send people?
Yeah, I can post this petition in the chat. We have a Twitter and Instagram. It's at CSU Grad Workers for both of those.
Yeah, help the grad workers. It sucks.
And then
because I know how much I did this I did this back, you know, I was a research assistant, as I've said in the past, and you really do a lot of the work for almost no money.
You don't get any credit for it.
Nothing. My name is not on the study I worked on.
You need to find a single lady that wants to keep a man.
Yeah.
No, I've been trying, man. Times are tough.
Yeah. It's tough out there.
But yeah, we also have I guess it's for anyone in kind of like the Denver and North area, Colorado, wants to come up. We're planning a rally for this coming Thursday on May 6th, because that's when the Board of Governors meeting is.
Nice.
It's on Zoom, but we're going to be down on campus outside, making a lot of noise, making sure they hear our concerns.
Awesome.
Sweet. Yeah, show up if you're out there and help them out. It's it is fucked up the way that they treat like research assistants in college, and it was something that I got really disillusioned with it too when I was doing it, because I was just like, well, I mean, this all has to get done, you know? It's not like this doesn't have to get done, and it's the boring stuff, and then you get all the credit. So or somebody else gets all the credit and you get $9 an hour.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling in, and hopefully some Street Fighters show up for you there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and again, on Twitter, Instagram, it's CSU grad workers.
All right.
CSU grad workers. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, you too.
Let's roll into the next one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a situation. That's right. I mean, if you don't have enough money, you just don't have enough money. You kind of just got to bite the bullet and, you know, like he said, put your head down and eat ramen. If you can't find a way to do anything else, hopefully it won't be for forever. I don't think it's going to be forever, but yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of hell that we require college students to go through, like it's some rite of passage to lose 30 fucking pounds in stress weight.
Yeah, and it's a bummer, man, because like those people are working probably like, I mean, the research assistant job I had was really tedious, dude. And I was working a lot of hours for I think it was $8.50 an hour I was making. And it's just, you really deserve more. You know what I mean? Like they deserve, not only do they deserve credit because it could help them in the future. You know what this all works on? You know, we're talking, you know, I keep saying you deserve credit, but really all this is like, so you can get a reference from a teacher, basically, for the next step in college. Like I got, or a letter of recommendation. You don't get like any hard credit. And then if you don't need a letter of recommendation, you really don't get shit for it. You know? Yeah. So it does suck. It does really suck. Shellsby in the chat said something really funny. She said every person that they've ever had, what did it say? Every dude I've ever had sex with, I made up their sheets game. I got her bed, and it's like, yeah, I 100%. My wife had to do that. Like,
oh yeah,
like I know a lot of women that have had to teach a guy how to put sheets on his bed.
This is unacceptable. You need to. These are the same ones that were on the last time I came over here. You need another set. You got to watch these motherfuckers.
It's fucking pointless. It's fucking like guys like I was one of them. You just think things that people have been doing since the end of time, or since the beginning of time. You just think it's fucking cleaning the bathroom's fucking pointless. Why would you do that? That's where you go to shit. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all that stuff. Cooking dinner's fucking stupid. You could get McDonald's every day. What the hell? You know?
Good point.
Why do people decorate their house? You know, you don't have to hang anything on the wall. What are you doing with the walls? They look fine white, you know?
Yep. Oh, I need stuff on the walls. I feel so naked with just the blank wall staring at me.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
I mean, you've seen my bedroom. Yeah. You've rarely been in there, but we're in there the other day to grab something, and nothing.
yeah.
It's dark.
Yeah, that place, very minimalist, I guess.
Yeah, I don't feel like I need anything in there. I'm just sleeping.
Yeah, nobody comes in here. I don't need to show it off. It's not going to be in a magazine.
Very dude. I still have that little bit of dude energy where I'm like, it's fucking pointless. Who decorates their bedroom?
It's fucking pointless, dude.
Yeah, it's the first thing you see when you wake up.
I don't care. Yeah, and then I go downstairs and look outside. Nature is beautiful, Brett.
I went to the thrift store and I got one of those like souvenir plates. I found one. It said "Welcome to Waldrug, South Dakota."
Yeah.
It's from the Badlands, and it has like a big dinosaur. It's like a collector's plate, and it says like "We made it." So then I didn't know what to do with it. I bought the little wood stand, so I have that on top of my dresser now.
A Waldrug plate?
Yeah.
I mean, Waldrug's cool. I want to go to Waldrug. If I ever drive up by South Dakota, I'll definitely, and I will drive up by South Dakota. But yeah, Waldrug's cool, man.
Yeah, I also have I'm a little too like upfront with my themes because like for my bedroom I just want like jungles and animals. Everything that's what we do. It's sweaty like a jungle in this place.
It will be too.
We get sweaty in there.
Yeah. Well, also because Brent doesn't turn on air conditioning ever.
True.
But I used to go to that house on Tibbet, and this motherfucker would be 90 degrees outside, and he wouldn't have his air conditioning on, and he would also have all the windows shut.
Yep.
And he's just sitting in there comfortable. He's just like fine with it. Hey, you know, it gets hot. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's the thing too. With the switch up with living myself now, if it's 50 to 90, no thermostat at all. I have it on. It's been off ever since I've moved in. I still haven't used it.
Yeah.
Also, next one, I don't kill bugs either. I see bugs all the time, and I just let them go past. And no one has to. There's no screaming and hooting and hollering. I don't have to capture it in a fucking jar and put a postcard underneath it. None of that. I just let it disappear. I just close my eyes and look the other way.
Yeah. Yeah,
I hated killing bugs. I kept telling him, you're making me do the dirty work. I have to pay for this karmically.
Yeah, I always said that about killing bugs is like because like I had this like realization. It was probably on drugs. I'm not, totally sure it happened on drugs, but I had this realization that like outside, your house is outside. It's technically a part of outside.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the bugs have like every right to like kind of be wherever outside, you know? But then I always argue with myself because I'm like, I don't let squirrels in my house. Like if a squirrel came in my house, I would fucking lose my mind, Like what the fuck am I going to do? I was once at my brother's house and a bat flew out of the fucking fireplace. And I was like, I don't even know how I would fucking deal with that. And just, I took off running. I was like, no way. But bugs, I just don't feel like bugs are that bad. Like you can let them out the door, I guess.
Yeah. They'll find their way.
Yeah. No roaches though.
Yeah, not roaches too. Yeah,
I'm not pro roaches. Yeah, don't let dirty bugs come in your house. Just a daddy long legs is gonna get in there, dude, because you live on Earth where there's daddy long legs is.
Stink bugs, man, those things.
Oh God, you would never believe how much I get yelled at for killing stink bugs.
Do they stink?
I don't think so. I never smelled them, and I never even.
I don't kill them. I scoop them up in toilet paper and flush them.
Well, that's killing them.
Well, not anymore. But that was my method before.
Yeah,
but I didn't squash them.
Most of the time, I try to get them to go out the door.
Sure.
But if they won't go out the door, I'm not going to spend all night trying to get a bug to go out the door.
Yeah. Cup works too. The cup is the best method.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Oh my God! Hello.
Hello. Who's this?
What's going on? This is Terry.
What's up,
from,
Terry?
Montana.
Ooh, okay.
Not much.
Montana.
What kind of bugs y'all got out there?
Oh, a lot of bugs. They're just waking up though, because it's snow is still melting out here.
I
think I even saw a mosquito the other day.
The snow's really still melting in Montana?
Yeah, man.
Oh, I feel for you.
I mean, where I'm at, it's all pretty cleared out, but pretty close by, some of the roads are still closed.
Jesus, Montana. Yeah. Oh, well, so what's going on tonight?
Long winter. Yeah, I've got. First of all, awesome to talk to you guys. Long time, first time. Big fan. I got a story for you, I guess. Well, first of all, I've got the reason I called, I've got an unemployment hearing coming up this week on Thursday, where I have to plead to the bureaucrats of the state of Wyoming to deem me worthy of about $8,000 or so.
Oh, wow. For what?
For unemployment benefits from this past winter. Yeah, so wondering if you have advice or at least encouragement, because I feel like I don't stand much of a chance to plead my case. I mean, I could tell the rest of the details of the story if you care to hear it.
Are you so basically you're sort of, I guess, like
I got denied because I quote unquote quit.
Did you quit though? How did the end happen?
Yeah. Okay, so I quit a job. I wouldn't call it, the job that I had. I got laid off from one job, which I consider my job. I'm a seasonal worker in a national park out here. That's the Terry, because I work for the feds. Yeah, I got laid off as we do every year, and most people go on unemployment when they get laid off for the season. And this was at the end of the last summer, that federal, that sweet federal money had already gone away and they hadn't re-upped it again. So yeah, I was like, oh man. I guess the other part of this story is, you get kicked out of your housing, at the end of the season. And I didn't have any place really to go. So they do this thing. It's kind of messed up, but you can volunteer in exchange for housing where I'm at, because there's really not much housing, period. And like I said, I didn't have any places to go. So I decided to volunteer for 32 hours a week in exchange for a place to lay my head at night.
Oh, fucking shit. No money at all? There's not even like a stipend?
Nope. They did just give me a Nalgene bottle, though, at the end of my volunteering. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Hey, those are big money.
Those cost $10 whole.
Yeah, man.
How if you don't mind me asking,
yeah.
How did you eat and survive? How did you do all the other stuff that's not connected to having a place to sleep?
Just been slowly pulling money out of my bank account that you could say I saved up. Just saved up a little bit of money, and somehow it looks like I'm gonna get by. With I'm living relatively cheaply, and just have. I used to work a slightly more lucrative job of teaching in a high school.
Well, we've always famously heard that teachers make a lot of money.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's not pretty, and I got a brother who helps me out a little bit. Slowly. Yeah.
Are you relatively comfortable? I mean, are you living in housing with other people, or are you alone, or?
Great question. I'm living in what is essentially a remodeled motel room by myself in I guess you'd call it a studio. It's literally a motel room that they put me up in here.
Is there a
I don't have
though?
Is there a kitchen? Yeah.
Great question. There is not. I wish I could text you a picture right now of my camping stove sitting on my countertop.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, are there teaching jobs?
Does this this has to be illegal?
It sounds illegal to me.
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't. Apparently, it's legal. I think the idea, you know, most people think, oh, it's going to be like old retired people will come and like volunteer in our national parks and we'll give them a place because it's in rural, whatever. But like, there's plenty of people like me that are just like, you know, trying to get by and trying to, you know, keep working in some fashion.
So you got
extremely exploitative, this whole organization.
It does sound like it. I guess, can I ask, like, so you got laid off, like you lost the job from that you were getting paid for and got laid off, and then you started doing this?
Okay, so then yes, then I started doing the volunteering, correct, for the same organization. So yeah, I mean, it's not all right, but
it feels like they owe you something. To me, it feels like they owe you.
Yeah.
I mean, well, they owe you a lot at this point. You've been working for free, but
word.
I gotta say, it does sound like unemployment, though. If you get laid off, unemployment owes you, right, Brett? That's always
Correct.
been the case.
Yes.
Yeah. You get laid off or fired,
so,
then you get unemployment. But if you quit, you don't get unemployment.
Yep.
Right. So I got laid off, and like, you know, this is the same thing I've done with the past few years. And like, so last winter, you know, I did all right once that COVID unemployment came in. You know, I was making more money on unemployment than I did in my job. I still came back to my job.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, but this time I get laid off, and you know, no federal benefits. So I'm like, I mean, yeah, I'll get by. I've got a place to live, and I'll make this like couple $100 off of unemployment a week. But I was like, you know what? You can still get unemployment benefits and work part time. So maybe I'll go to the little town here, and I'll get a job bagging groceries for $11 an hour, just to like, you know, have a little bit supplemental money. So now I'm working 32 hours, you know, in the park, working 20 hours at the grocery store, you know, putting everybody's, you know, Slim Jims and lettuce in a bag.
That's it's a productive shopping trip.
It was very, but then, you know, did that for a couple months, and I was just like a little worn out. I mean, you know, the other thing is like my temporary job, my seasonal job, it's coming back, and it's coming back in a couple weeks now. So like I've got that to look forward to, right? And anyway, so I'm bagging groceries, and I've got to drive like an hour away for physical therapy like twice a week, and you know, I'm just like, I'm over this grocery bagging thing. It was like a good idea to make a little bit of money, but it's too much. I'm just going to quit this and just rely on unemployment until my job kicks back in.
Okay.
But I guess I didn't read the fine print, and it just doesn't matter. Even though you can still receive unemployment benefits while working part-time, if you quit that part-time job, that you get disqualified.
Yeah, I think they got you with the quitting the part-time job. I've seen this happen a lot of times because the unemployment thing is like a super cut and dried sort of thing where like, you know, you almost can't make any money. My mom got kicked off of unemployment for working at a pizza shop for like $7.50 an hour.
Yeah.
They said she made too much to get unemployment.
Yeah. Last winter though, before COVID hit, I was in Denver at the time, driving for Lyft, you know, part-time, and still receiving unemployment benefits. I was substitute teaching, still receiving unemployment benefits. When I stopped doing that stuff, I didn't get kicked off, but I guess it's because like, you know, it's like, you're not contracted for a specific amount of time that then you like stop. Whereas, I mean, anyways, yeah, they might have got me.
Here's what
I'm appealing, and I've been doing all this research. I'm gonna give it a whirl on
Get
Thursday.
the statutes, just read some statutes at them.
Yeah,
I mean, I here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to send good vibes your way, and then I will also pray which,
Ooh.
yeah.
All right.
I don't do that for
Man.
just anybody, but Lord Jesus Christ,
man.
get this man $8,000 in unpaid unemployment benefits. Amen. There we go. I said a prayer.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I'm in.
Yup.
Yeah, man. I'll if it works out, I'll let you know, and you can continue your weekly praying.
All right. Yeah, I'll pray. Yeah. Well, this is the first time I've prayed in my life, but except for when I would lose something when I was younger.
I'm honored.
Yeah, I would lose stuff when I was younger, right? I went to church once, and they said, you know, if you're looking for something, God will shine a light on it so that you can find it. And I think that was more of like a metaphorical thing.
Sure.
But I took it as very like much true. So when I was like 11, 10, 12, if I couldn't find something, I would pray. And then I would look around the room and see if there was a light shining on anything. Never worked. But that's the last time I prayed, was when I was 11 or 12. So I'm going to pray right now. I just prayed, and before I watch Billions, I'll also pray. So everybody in the chat's praying too.
Thank you so much.
Everybody in the chat's praying too. So have a good night.
Much appreciated. Thank you. I'll talk to you guys later.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Yeah, best of luck.
Yeah, shine a light. They did say that. Shine a light. If you pray to Jesus Christ, he'll shine a light on what you're looking for. And never worked. Not once.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
So far so bad. Started with advice, and then we went down to somebody that's getting paid $1,400 a month for 60 hours of work. And then from there, it went even lower to somebody working 32 hours a week for their rent.
For zero.
Yeah, for their rent.
For a horrible rent, though. You know what I mean? Like, as low as it gets. I mean, if you were paying for his situation, you'd probably only be paying $200 a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He's working 32 hours a week for $200 a month, I think.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I mean, that situation sounds dire to me. It's like having a bedroom. It is, literally.
That's what you have.
And you know, what he said that, like, chilled me to my core was when he said the words motel. And I was like, buddy, I would never stay in a motel.
Well, maybe the guy that used to stay up till 8 in the morning to wave goodbye would.
That guy would have stayed in a motel in a fucking second. He would have loved it. But, like, I drive by a motel now and I see cars parked outside and I'm like, what's going on with you, man? You know? I think it's because when I was a cable guy, I had to go to motels and fix cable. And just
shenanigans.
I mean, not just like the other tenants there get into shenanigans. You know what I mean? When it's like you can stay for a week for $200 or $150 or whatever, or you can stay for one night, or you can stay for a few hours. Like, you know, those were the types of hotels I was going to. I mean, I went to this one in Groveport, Ohio, that I didn't even know existed until I was working for the cable company. It's just called Airport Motel, and I just...
What'd you see?
I mean, the apartments, every one of them smelled like a pool hall, cigarette-wise. You know, everyone I went into. That is the place where I crawled under the crawl space to fix somebody's cable. And also, somebody said watching guys drink in a motel parking lot beer made me quit my job. Dude, that was people drunk no matter when you went there.
Yeah.
Everybody was drunk. And like, it was all single guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't see a lot of like women there or children, but there was a playground, but it was in shambles. You wouldn't let your kid play on this playground. And then I had to get
Men going their own way.
Men going there, exactly. And I had to get in to a crawl space. I crawl under this crawl space, and there's not one, but several dead cats down there. Ugh. And it smelled really bad, and it was right under the floorboards of where people were living. And they smoked so much that they had no idea that it was going, because it just smelled like cigarettes everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you don't smell the dead cat because you're frying up bacon on a sterno, and then you're smoking cigarettes in there all day. And there were, you know, they were very dark rooms. It was just like, dude, I mean, I've seen a few living situations that really fucked me up. You know?
Yeah. I bet. I saw a TikTok of a woman that is a professional cleaner, and a guy was like, "Hey, I got a move out date that's coming up. I've kind of got a tight squeeze. You think you could get something in tomorrow, like in the afternoon?" His toilet had backed up, and he had buckets of shit filling up the whole house. And she showed up, and he was like, "How long do you think it takes to get rid of all, or to get this taken care of?" The pictures she shared were absolutely fucking gruesome.
I told you the story about the house I went to in my old neighborhood, which was, you know, lower middle class, working class neighborhood. It was not like, it wasn't like, it was a normal sort of how most people grow up neighborhood. You know what I mean? And like, I go to this house and like, I kneeled down to unhook their modem. And when I stood up, my knee was wet and had bugs on it.
Ooh.
Like was covered in like fleas.
Whoa.
And like a guy was standing next to me with a Skyline chili 5-way, which is like, for people that don't know, it's basically like a plate of spaghetti with chili and cheese on it.
Onions.
And onions.
And mustard.
And he's holding it on the fucking plate it comes with, which is not, they fill this plate, dude. It is for sitting at a table and eating. You do not pick it up. It's not like a bowl of cereal.
No, a Cincinnati 5-way on a styrofoam plate should never leave a table.
You would put it in a bowl. If you got it, you would get it home and put it in a bowl so as to not make a mess.
Right.
But as I walked in this place, there's dishes in the sink completely full, and then down on the floor covering the whole kitchen, and then coming out into the living room, just stopping short of the front door. Like, and it was just dirty dishes. And fucking this goddamn guy is eating this 5-way right next to me, and shit is just falling on the floor, and he's just kind of like rubbing it in with his feet sort of situation.
Oof, that's right.
And then
they need help.
I told somebody recently the story about I knocked on a door. I was supposed to disconnect these cables, and I was supposed to disconnect somebody's cable, and I was supposed to pick up their equipment. And I knocked on a door, and the woman, I said, Insight Communications, we're here to pick up your equipment. And the woman said, come on in. And I pushed the door open, and Trash had to like move to push the door open. And Trash was probably up to my ankles throughout the whole place. And there were cats everywhere, and there was cat hair and shit everywhere. And it was just this older woman sitting in a chair, looking at the wall in a trailer filled with trash. And she wasn't the right customer because she didn't have any TV or anything like that. She was literally just staring at the wall, Brett. And that fucked me up, man. I never stopped thinking about it. And it really was, I still think about it all the time. Like, I'm not going to end up like that. You know what I mean? I can't.
Those people have they need severe help.
I agree. But it was just crazy, man. You know, I'd climb in crawl spaces and see dead animals all the time in people's homes. Yeah. You know, let's take another call and then hit a break.
Okay. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Oh, hey, this is Jack from Kansas City.
What's up, Jack? How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. I'm just going to apologize in advance real quick for, like, sounding so tweaked out because I just drank, like, a big-ass glass of cold brew.
Hey.
And I've been smoking some really good weed, so.
Yeah,
all right.
You sound pretty relaxed.
Yeah, you said when you said cold brew, I was like, you're pretty relaxed for some cold brew.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. Then maybe I don't sound that tweaked out.
No, you sound great.
No.
I don't think anyone's mentioned it yet, so happy late International Workers' Day.
Yeah. I had to go to a thing, so I didn't get to be there. But yeah, I thank you.
Yes, happy May Day to everybody.
And like, thank you, chat, for like I called in last week and they showed a lot of support and love. And I didn't see it until I watched the VOD after, but shout out, chat.
Yeah.
Chat is
Thank
rad.
you, chat.
Good job, chat.
Yeah.
Good job chatting.
Hooray for you, chat. I'm not going to make fun of you or be mean to you tonight just because you helped out. So what's going on this week?
Oh, I just figured I'd call in with some grocery store hell since I quit, earlier this month. I worked there for 2 years, so I have a pretty big array of stories.
What did you do?
You got 1 year of the before time and 1 year of quarantine.
Yeah.
Right.
What did you do? What was your grocery store?
I was in
job?
produce.
I did produce for a while. What a fucking shit job that is. I hated produce. Maybe it's because the guy that I worked for was in produce was a prick.
Sure, that makes sense. I don't really hate
my manager was a huge dick, but
right.
Yeah,
and
I guess
the produce department
deal. Is that the star of the show?
What
is the produce the star of the show? Yeah,
produce made them at least at our store. Produce made the most money, especially after the pandemic hit. We were pretty much carrying for like the first 2 financial quarters.
Yeah, I mean the produce department to me, I didn't like it. I thought it was the hardest work in the store, which is an issue for me because I don't like to do hard work. I found the produce department to be the hardest job in the store. It's the most I worked.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't that way where you were?
I mean, it could be difficult when my boss wanted to be a dick, but I don't know. I kind of just turned my brain off and stacked fruit,
What store did you, do you mind saying what the store was that you worked at?
Yeah. Okay. So it's called Hy-Vee. It's like a Midwest
we've
chain.
been there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck they're trying to do now. They want to be like everything. And I don't know. I don't want to go to a grocery store and eat lunch, sit down in a Wahlburgers or whatever.
What? There's a Wahlburgers in the Hy-Vee?
Yeah, there is.
Wahlburgers fucking sucks.
And it's bad. When I lived in D.C.
Well, and Mark Wahlberg sucks also, but that's besides the point.
When I lived in D.C., there was the Whole Foods there were really next level, and there was one that had a bar, and it would be fucking packed. Full lights up at the grocery store, people chatting and walking around, swishing their hips and stuff, just like they're at a bar, but people are around the skirts, around the edges of them, people are looking at cheese and trying to get cereal and shit.
There's one by
my we had a bar for a minute.
Oh yeah, you have it too.
Yeah, and people hang out there.
We did, and then we went on, there was some construction. So now it went from a bar and a little, I don't know, grilled hamburger place to a Wahlburgers.
God, we had Wahlburgers in Vegas and we spent $90 on it and it was fucking bad. So,
never eaten.
What was one of the, I'm trying to think here. So what was one of the worst things that happened? What's the worst customer interaction you ever had?
The worst customer interaction I've ever had would, I'd have to say it'd be after the pandemic hit. I was just, stacking whatever onions or something, and some guy came up and he's looking at them, and he decides to pull his mask down to cough, and I didn't even say anything. I just walked away. I went to the back of the store.
Yeah, I mean,
what the fuck?
Are you so would you say that you are kind of like me in that terrified of confrontation? You don't want to do confrontation because I have to say, I think working in a grocery store or a Tim Hortons or a fucking McDonald's or something like that right now, I mean, you are really being asked to be the police in a way. right? Like,
right.
How comfortable? Can you imagine asking people to put their fucking mask on or put it on right?
Yeah, I like scolding people and being mean to them, and if it's a justified reason, that's even better.
Really? I would be so.
I would be a smartass.
Scared.
I would be a smartass to the point where they would try to jump over the counter and grab me.
I saw a woman.
I don't know.
I don't know if I told this on here. I told it on a POD cast, but I don't know if I told this on here. I saw a woman get kicked out of a fucking Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
And
for what?
She fucking walked in without a mask on, and she was like, "I'd like a small coffee." And the lady is like, "Well, go to your car and get a mask." And she said, "I don't have one. I just want the small coffee." And she was like, "Well, I'm not going to sell it to you unless you're wearing a mask." And the woman got pissed and left.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily confrontation averse, but I just don't think it's worth it with most of these people.
Right. Yeah. And they like coughed on you?
So not like direct, like it's not like he looked at me and like put his, mouth up to my face and coughed, but he was standing right next to me. So like I was stacking one thing and the thing next to me, he was looking through, and then he just pulled down his mask and coughed.
That's a sicko. That sounds like some weird personal protest, or just some people are really moronic about how these things work, but that's the reason that we're wearing the mask.
He was boomer age,
do that.
So I don't know if his mind was just like deteriorating at that point or what, but
yeah, that's fucking crazy. I'm that to me might have gotten me to lose my mind. I really think I mean, leaving the situation probably was a better move. So what was your, okay, the next question is, like, what was your worst manager?
Okay, so when I was there, I had the same manager the entire time, and this is actually a pretty funny story. So he had worked there for, I don't know, like 10 years maybe. But before that, his dad was actually the head manager of that department. So they had a little monarchy, produce monarchy going on. But he was just a straight asshole. Actually, one of the things that he said to me probably, 6-7 months into working there, this isn't verbatim, but it was something along like the lines of that I will never amount to anything more than like a produce worker.
Well, he's a produce worker.
That's exactly how I thought. Like, I didn't say it to him, but I was like, you realize that you are just the big produce worker, right?
You're King Corn over here.
Right.
Isn't that
exactly.
a movie?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a goddamn produce worker. That is, I mean, what was he scolding you for? Do you remember?
I don't remember actually. I do now that you mention it. He asked me if I wanted to go like full time or something, and I was like, no way. I don't want to work here any more than I have to. And then he was like, well, you're never gonna be anything more than a produce worker anyway, so something like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I had the same reaction one time when I worked at the cable company, and they asked me if I wanted to play in the company softball game, and I laughed at them and said, of course not. I would never play and then they were like, oh, what, you think you're better than the cable guys? And I was like, oh no, I don't think that, I just don't like you. It's not a thinking you're better. It's just I personally don't like you, so I'm not going to play. Somebody in the chat said, "Were you union?"
No, we were actually. It's horrible. They are like the type of grocery store to say they're like employee owned.
Oh my God, I forgot. Yeah, that is Hy-Vee. But do you get a dividend or anything?
If you worked like full time and something else, I'm pretty sure you end up like losing more money, like in the short term than, you know what I mean? Like it's only like a long-term benefit, and I didn't see myself working there long enough that I wanted to do that or anything.
Yeah.
So,
Well, hey, at least you got out of there though. You know, you're out. No more people sneezing near you. You don't have to be in the grocery store. I mean, you did. I have to tell you, you did work there. You know who you remind me of? You remind me of me, and I'm going to tell you why you remind me of me. I was a roofer for 4 months, and I started in mid-November. I cannot imagine a worse time to become an industrial roofer in mid-November and work, you know, all the way up in the freezing cold and shit like that. And you really you worked at a grocery store and you worked there at the worst possible time in your whole life. So, hey, you made it through.
yeah, I guess that's one way of putting it.
You did. You gotta feel a little bit of victory. And hey, let's just say Brett was talking about how the calls went down, down, down in pay. I assume you're making more than no money and living in a motel.
Yeah, no, I've actually, you know, I'm doing my, hold on. I'm doing my street fight thing. Just hustling, making money.
Nice. I like that. I like that attitude. I mean, I won't ask how you're doing it, but I will tell you I'm curious. But you do not have to tell me your hustle because I understand. I don't ever tell anybody mine. But, well, thank you for calling in. And, you know, it's good to talk to you. It's good to hear you doing well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll call in again sometime with some more grocery store stories. But,
Hell yeah. All right.
You guys have a good.
You do. You too. Who, buddy? Hey, before we go to break, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I've heard this.
Oh, God.
Okay, this is some science I've heard in the past, and maybe Jason's here too. He can answer. How many bananas do you eat before they get poisonous?
There's a number you need to ask Sarah. She's already looked that up.
Okay.
I think you got to be 7 or 8 or something.
Okay.
3 is fine.
I had 2 today.
2 is fine.
All right. But I want another one. I don't have one on me.
Pick a different fruit.
Well, I mean, I'll probably eat some. I had an apple too.
Okay, there's other ones. There's a whole world of fruits.
Oh, dude, I had an apple today.
Bananas, they got a lot of sugar in them, right? So
I don't care. I had an apple today, and it chased a dookie out of me so fast. It was crazy. But anyway, I was getting a little bit nervous during that call because I just ate a banana. And I was like, starting to think like, am I getting close to like the poisonous level bananas?
Hyperkalemia.
You know? Is that it?
Yeah, that's
how many is it? What are they saying?
Just says 358 milligrams of potassium.
That doesn't help.
Wait.
Even a little bit.
Sorry. I don't know how to figure it out. It doesn't have it played out here.
Hold on. I guess I'll check for myself. Bananas.
Yeah, that's a pretty high number.
Is too many. Okay. Oh my God. Really? You can't just tell me how many. Is 3 bananas a day too much? Okay, it says 3's not too much, so I think it's okay.
The dumb Assolay is saying 400.
400 bananas?
Yeah, I don't believe that.
I would never eat 400 bananas in a day. But I just getting a little nervous about getting poisoned by bananas. So it's good. All right, let's go to break then.
All right. Thanks for listening to the show so far. Thanks for calling in, all y'all. This week we got music from House of Teeth. This says, greetings. First of all, I love the show so fucking much. You guys put out great stuff, and I'm glad you're out there making leftist comedy content. We need as much of that as we can in this bizarre hellscape we live in. This might not be exactly what you two usually play on this show, but if you ever feel so inclined to play some weirdo political pop music on the show, I just put out an album called Turnstile Stopped under the name House of Teeth. You can find it on any streaming platform or on good old Bandcamp, houseofteeth.com or houseofteeth.bandcamp.com. It would be pretty bitchin' if you guys played this, but no hard feelings if it doesn't. Either way, I hope you guys are having a good time. Thanks, Jacob. All right, that works for me. This is House of Teeth. We'll be back after the break. We're Street Fight. Hey everybody, welcome back to Street Fight Radio. That was House of Teeth. You can find them at houseofteeth.bandcamp.com. Not what I was expecting at all. The chat went absolutely crazy for it. You got some good comparisons here. Someone said a James Murphy vibe. Johann Bratwurst again. Phil Winter is into it. Lots of people. Destined to be a classic. All right. I loved it too. I thought it was really good. I want to see it live.
Hell yeah. I want to see anything live.
All right, let's answer some calls. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hello. We hear you.
Hey.
Hello. Hello, hello. Little Howard Stern humor for you. Hello?
If you're listening to the show, we're talking to you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Who's this?
Hey, this is James.
What's up, James? What's going on tonight?
Oh, not a whole lot. Chilling.
Okay. What's up?
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I'm getting used to the sound delay thing.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, just been hanging out. Smoked a bunch of Delta 8 cartridges, so I'm a little luncheon.
Oh. Is Delta 8 good?
Yeah, I wanted to. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm like in slow motion. It's pretty cool, but chilling. I wanted to call in to hit people up to see if anyone else was around DC that wanted to go to Lonnie Palooza, the big party thing we're planning.
Where is it at? DC?
Well, no, I'm in DC, but we're planning to do like a big gathering.
Where
so I just wanted to hit up.
Brian's on Facebook.
Undecided yet.
Yeah, I'm not on Facebook.
Check out the Facebook group. Oh, right.
I got out. I had to get out of Facebook. It was driving me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. It drives me crazy too.
Well, hey, how can people get in contact with?
We'll be able to facilitate that pretty easily. I'm sure.
Yeah, hit me up. I'm
spreadsheet put together.
I'm on Twitter. I'm Wolf of Y'all Street, and then that's why I'm on Instagram too. And then I'm on Facebook, James Thomas. So.
All right. Well, if somebody can help get to Lonnie Palooza, which I mean, depending on where it's at, I might go to this. It sounds fun.
It's going to have to be within driving distance of Brian so that he doesn't have to camp in the woods.
Hopefully you make an appearance, man. That would be the best.
Oh, hey, I would love to make an appearance.
Yeah, if anyone wants to go, hit me up.
All right. It's been a long time, but I would love to make an appearance since I've made an appearance. But, all right. Yeah, hit them up if you can get them there once we find out where it's at.
I sent
when it is.
Yeah, we're not figured out yet, but I sent in music to you guys too in an email to see if you want to play it during the break. So check it out.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
All right.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Peace.
I didn't even know what that was.
I know. Yeah, I think Shanna and a couple other people are trying to put together a big outdoor get together. I suggested Nelson Ledges, renting out a camping area where we could set up a stage and have crafts and have karaoke.
Yes, crafts.
Yes.
I'd love to do crafts.
Yeah, all the fun stuff you do at camp.
That would be fun. I would love to do something like that.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hello, this is Marla.
What's up, Marla? How's it going?
It's going good. I'm calling all the way from Dallas, Texas tonight.
Oh, I like Dallas.
We love it.
We're Dallas fans here.
That's awesome to hear because I don't hear that a lot. Most people don't know anything about Dallas or just talk shit on Texas generally.
Brett loves Dallas. I mean, Brett lived there for a while, so he actually really likes Dallas. I've been like 3 times, and I really liked it there too.
Yeah, it left a lasting impression on me for sure. There was so much good music that came through. So many fun places. So much outdoor shit to do.
Yeah, because it's comfortable outdoors
Yeah.
at some times of the year.
Right.
Yeah. So what's up, Marla? What's going on?
I'm just calling to talk about, I'm one of these unemployed people. I lost my job over a year ago when COVID first hit, and I'm one of those people that is sitting pretty on unemployment and has been for a year. And I don't want to go back to work because the working conditions are so horrible.
So you are actually who they're addressing in the passive aggressive notes that the business owners are putting on the door.
Yeah, that's me. Absolutely. I'm not gonna. The minimum wage in Texas is $7.25 an hour. I'm not gonna go work for that.
Despicable.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, we have to force them to raise the goddamn price pay. That's how you get people to come back to work. Want to come back to work. What were you doing before?
Well, I was in a different kind of service sector. I'm a stripper. I worked in a strip club for a couple of years before COVID hit and shut everything down for me.
Right, you can't really do that.
Yeah, that's your profession. You can't. Yeah, that's not safe to do.
Yeah, you can't do that during COVID. That seems like impossible to do during COVID.
It is impossible, and that's part of why I haven't worked in the club in over a year is because I hear all my coworkers coming with horror stories about there's no mask enforcement and their customers still putting dirty dollar bills in their mouth to try to tip them and trying to put their mouths on them. I mean, it's a horror show, and in Texas, you got some real the wild west of clubs out here in terms of rules and enforcement. I worked at a club where there wasn't even a bouncer. So if somebody was acting up, you'd have to fight them personally.
Fuck. That sounds horrible.
Holy shit.
I mean, were you pretty tough? Did it make you pretty tough?
I mean, you have to be tough to survive in that environment, to deal with, 100 different drunk, aggressive customers a night. You have to learn how to fight in heels. You have to learn how to hold your own.
That is, yeah. I mean, I never really thought about I don't think I would have ever thought that a strip club wouldn't have a bouncer at the minimum, like some big person there to get the dudes in line. Because I used to go in my 20s like a decent amount, and those places get pretty rowdy at times. They do get a little nuts. I mean, what is the ratio to really rowdy stepping over the line guys and guys that are terrified? Because I fall on the guys that are terrified side. I was scared the whole time. I didn't want to offend, See,
those are the men that come out on the weekend nights. I worked a lot of Tuesday afternoons. I worked a lot of midday Wednesdays. I wasn't ready to deal with the Friday night crowds are the crowds that really scared me.
Yeah, that does. I mean, those are the wild. That's the wild times for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of money to be made in it. People, a lot of women like myself will put up with really bad working conditions because there is a lot of money to be made in the strip club. I mean, when I was working right before COVID, I could always have a reliable, $500 night almost every single night.
Yeah.
So to go from that to no income at all, and there was a lag time between, the loss of my income and the time that unemployment kicked in. So I'm one of the lucky ones that I got on unemployment, and I'm fine for now, but it's still a fraction of what I was making before COVID. And the whole reason I haven't gone back is because I know that the conditions have only gotten worse. Customers know that we're struggling. Customers know that it's been a rough year for all of us. So a lot of people are really trying to take advantage of that.
Oh God.
God, I didn't even think about that kind of thing where it's like they know that you need money, so they're gonna be fucking pricks, you know?
Hey, also, Marla, I'm sorry. I know that this is Prol Peach from Twitter.
Okay.
She was supposed to call in, and it got messed up. But thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you guys. I've been listening in this whole night, so it's nice to speak to y'all.
Yeah. So like, what is so in Texas? Is it just there are no COVID rules anymore? There's no protocols in place?
It really depends on the club and on management. Like I said earlier, I work in, the wild, wild west of clubs out here where you don't really have bouncers. The managers kind of double as bouncers, but the clubs here in Texas, I mean, they're the size of a Macy's department store. It's huge. You have over 100 strippers working per night, up to 150 strippers working per night on the weekends.
Whoa.
And hundreds of customers coming throughout the club. I mean, when I say it's the size of Macy's, I'm talking 2 stories, it's housed in like a warehouse type of situation. So when you're working in an environment like that and you don't even have so much as bouncers to be able to deal with rowdy customers, you have to be tough as shit in this environment. And being able to step away from the club for like a year has made me realize, like, why did I have to be so tough? Like, why did I have to fight off, drunk, aggressive customers every night? Like, the working conditions should be better than that. And that's part of why I'm so scared to go back, is because I realized, like, did COVID make me soft? Like, did staying home every weekend and not working make me soft? And I think it did.
Hey, you know what though? I think it made us all like a little bit what people would consider soft, because like, I don't know, like, even just, it sounds to me, it even sounds wild if you had a perfect night where you didn't have any problems and you made a bunch of money, just even being in that kind of situation after not doing it for a year would probably be kind of nerve-wracking,
Yeah, I think it's nerve-wracking every shift. Right before COVID shut everything down, I was having a hard time making it into the club because even though the money was good, not all money is good money. If I'm having to fight off customers and tell customers, like, no, you can't put your mouth on me. Like, no, you can't try to like stick your fingers inside me or something like that. Like, it's a type of environment where as soon as you step away from it, you kind of look back and realize, like, that's really shitty. Like, that's really fucking awful. And here in Texas, I think Texas is kind of unique. Like, Texas and Florida are the states that I think of when I think of like some of the worst working environments for strippers, because the clubs are so big and because the managers are so focused on like alcohol sales and like selling rooms. Like, the safety of the strippers just like completely falls by the wayside. And so we have to deal with the fallout of that in the form of like a really awful working environment.
Right. And I would assume also that the club owners probably aren't like, they're like not at all concerned with like your personal safety in a way. I mean, I guess they might say that they are, but it's maybe the last thing on their list of concerns, I guess.
I mean, some of them, this is more for the managers than the owners, because the owners, sometimes they're hardly ever there. They just let the managers take control of everything. And in the clubs that I've worked at, there's a really strong pimp culture in the club where the managers will basically be paid off by men who are like controlling the dancers or taking a cut of the dancers' money to like watch them while they're in the club and like make sure they're hustling. And I think that kind of sounds like an obscene dynamic to people who don't work in the clubs. But as soon as you work in the clubs, you realize that like the managers don't even pretend to care about your safety. Like, they'll openly work with like pimps and the men who are like exploiting the strippers who are working there.
Wow. I would have never even thought of that. Like that. I always kind of felt like I don't know. I'm pretty naive when it comes to this stuff, but like, I always sort of felt I always sort of felt like it was the what's the word? Like I always felt like the dancers were respected in a way, but that also might be because I respect them. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, it was like, well, I just assume everybody kind of, because I used to like back when I used to go, I would get like lap dances and stuff, and I would put my arms on the arm of the chair, and I literally I wouldn't move my hands at all. Like I in my mind, I can't imagine the type of dude that feels entitled to anything out of that situation. You know,
too damn many of them.
Yeah, it's probably most of them. Now that I think about it, you know, most of the dudes are probably, you know, handsy and shit like that. I was always afraid like a bouncer or somebody was going to come and take me out, or the woman was going to like yell at me, and then I would feel bad. So I was just like, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be respectful here. I always like respected like dancers and at those clubs. I always did, because I just think it's like, it's a job that's like, I think it's brave to do, in my opinion, because like I just think about even like I have shorts that are have a 9-inch inseam, and I freak out thinking about people seeing my knees. You know what I mean? But also like,
yeah,
you're performing, like you're actually like performing. You're putting yourself out there in a way that like, I mean, a lot of people are afraid to go on stage. You know what I mean? And like you're out there, you're doing art out there.
Entertaining.
And entertaining people, I feel. But so like, what do you think is next for you? Like, do you not think you're gonna go back like after vaccinations and stuff? Do you think you're probably done with it? And like what would be like the next kind of move?
I'm gonna go back this summer.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going back this summer because God, there's so much money to be made in the club. I mean, I've been hearing these stories from y'all and your callers all night about you know, how to make ends meet and talking about rent and landlords and stuff like that. And you know, my comeuppance, like I come from, you know, a working class Latino family here in the rural Texas area. And my comeuppance was through sex work. It was through the club. It was through, you know, making all this cash as a stripper. And so to try to step away from that is really difficult, because you look online and you look at the job listings, and it's like, you know, $9 an hour, no benefits, no set schedule. And you kind of get used to just being able to go into the club and make at least $300. You know, if rent is due, you know, next weekend, like I could make that if I really needed to. So to try to go back to like the vanilla market it's so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't worked in the mainstream market in a couple of years now. I mean, I joke about it, but like I haven't touched my resume since like 2016. So I have to wonder, like, who's going to hire me after this, after being out of the mainstream market for so long. But I'm definitely going back. I mean, for me, I feel like I got to see it through to see, you know, what is it like post-COVID? Like, are the conditions worse? Are they better? If only for curiosity.
Right. Yeah. I don't even know what I don't even feel like I could forecast sort of what things will be like in that situation. I mean, you know, once people are vaccinated, I think like it'll take a little time, but we'll feel better in places like that, you know. But it's like you don't even really know how many people are going to the club at this point, you know. Like have you heard that if it's been going well? Like are people showing up?
I hear that it is returning in terms of like the kind of the number of customers that are coming through the door. I hear from my coworkers that like people are coming in more, like more and more people are getting vaccinated. So they are returning to the club and they are, you know, returning to their jobs where they have the kind of disposable income that they can spend in the club on the weekends. But it seems like the conditions only ever get worse, which obviously it varies club to club. It varies state to state. The kind of working conditions that you see in the clubs. But here in Texas, here specifically in Dallas, Texas, it only seems to decline. Like the customers only seem to get worse over time. Like I started dancing in 2018 and there will always be older dancers from like who started a decade prior to me talking about the good old days and how customers never used to touch you and managers never used to work with pimps. And, you know, we used to have bouncers in this club, but suddenly they were too expensive to pay for, like shit like that. It's like strippers experience the kind of decline in working conditions that like every worker has experienced over the past decade or so.
Yeah.
Like it only gets worse for all of us.
Weed guys too. I mean, like the price, the price has gone, the price has stayed the same, but the money has become worth way less.
Yeah. Yeah. Weed guy is a tough job these days.
Yeah.
I will agree. But
so Marla, are you working on anything? I know you write and things like that. Is there anything that you want our audience to know about sex work and what it means in this day and age and how they can help or support?
Yeah, first I want to plug this organization called Whose Corner Is It Anyway? It's an organization that's run by and for poor working class drug using sex workers. They have a constant GoFundMe up under their name, Whose Corner Is It Anyway? And they're based out of Western Massachusetts. And they're such a perfect example of how even street-based workers, like even the kind of sex workers that we think of as like the most marginalized, can still get together and like organize themselves. And this is a long-running organization. Katie Simon helps run it. And these are just like incredible people coming together to move mountains with very little money that they get from the state. Like they've been doing everything from like harm reduction work with like supplying Narcan and like safe syringes, stuff like that, to like helping like street-based sex workers like get on unemployment and like get their stimulus payments. Like it's the definition of like a grassroots sex worker organization that's run by sex workers, like no ulterior motives, just an organization for and by sex workers. So I definitely want to plug them.
That's fantastic.
So people can look into that organization. But for myself, I'm starting to write here. I'm actually about to start a Substack under my name, marlacruz.substack.com. And my first piece is coming up this upcoming week. And I'm writing about how the policing of prostitution affects strippers and why we all must be for full decriminalization of sex work, full decrim of prostitution. Like I've been talking a little bit about like managers and pimps and working conditions, but I think it really gets lost on people how strippers are targets for police and how many prostitution raids happen in strip clubs across the country every year. And the kinds of things that strippers will get arrested for. I just want to give an example of this one club raid that happened over in the neighboring city, Fort Worth, back in the summer of 2019, where there's a prostitution raid on a strip club. And the women that were arrested, they were arrested for everything from prostitution to solicitation to a law in Texas called public lewdness, which is a Class A misdemeanor.
Oh my God.
And under this public lewdness law, what the dancers got arrested for was sitting on the undercover officer's lap and drinking alcohol. Like that's what they were arrested for. So these laws are written in such a way to where police can just go in and arrest strippers for something as mundane as sitting in their laps and drinking alcohol, because that's considered public lewdness in Texas.
Oh my God.
Right. They closed, now that I think about it, now that you said that, they closed a few clubs here in town because they said the police went in and were like propositioned, But like, I remember the stories seeming like not so much that, it was the club that Stormy Daniels went to, and the cops kept going back and getting like lap dances and then saying like, oh, they, I don't know, they implied that they were going to do something or something like that. So, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I have to imagine that the police are, they come in the club and push their weight around, I would assume.
Absolutely.
I said,
yeah, push. One thing that I'm writing about is how the managers in the clubs and the club owners, they often engage in like a pay-to-play relationship with local police. There was a court settlement in Houston here a couple years back where there are 16 different strip clubs in Houston that collectively agreed to pay $1 million a year to the anti-human trafficking unit of the Houston Police Department in order for the police department to not enforce certain codes in the strip clubs, such as the banning of touching between strippers and customers. Like, they were allowed to like bypass certain city ordinances that were on the books if they paid $1 million a year to the Houston Police Department.
Jesus Christ. That is, it's really, we have never had somebody that strips call into the show. We've had like people with OnlyFans and stuff like that. I mean, like, it does seem like an industry that, I'll ask you this. They often say that with UFC and pro wrestling, that the challenge to unionizing them is that it's sort of an every man for themselves business where they're all competing with each other. So if one person does better, then another person feels they've been pushed down. Like there's a finite amount of spots, right? Is that part of the challenge in organizing? Like, is this like a super difficult, because it feels like you do have, there is power, but there's always power with the workers, right? Like what are some of the challenges to organizing?
I would say the number one challenge is the kind of turnover that you see in our industry. I mean, there would be people who come into the club, once a month to make some extra money. They have some sort of day job where they make most of their money, and they're just in the club for like disposable income. So they don't see it as necessary work. They don't necessarily see themselves as, the strippers who are in there for years and years and years, and that's their livelihood, and that's how they pay their bills, every single week. So I would say that the turnover is a huge barrier. I would also say the fact that we're independent contractors in the state of Texas. There are certain states like California, for example, where strippers are considered employees, but here in Texas, we're independent contractors. So it really is, the clubs foster an every man for themselves kind of mentality. And even when you work in a club where there are like hundreds of customers coming through every night, these are overwhelmingly like really vulnerable women working in the club. A lot of them are taking care of a lot of kids by themselves. A lot of them do have dependents, like extended family members that they send money back home to. Another barrier is that a lot of the dancers working here in Texas, a lot of them are immigrants. A lot of them are monolingual Spanish-speaking immigrants. And so there are all these barriers that like come together to just hammer in the fact that like there are all these awful working conditions in the club, and it feels like, you're sweeping back the ocean with a broom to try to do anything about it. I mean, sex workers, I try to get through to people that like, we're just like any other type of worker, like we are just as easy to unionize and just as difficult to unionize as, the kind of workers that are listening to the show right now.
That actually makes perfect sense. I mean, I had wondered, because organizing in the entertainment field seems like something that is uniquely difficult, in that like everybody sort of feels lucky to be there. And I got to imagine if you're bringing in $500 a night, that you have to, I mean, there are probably a lot of people doing it that just are happy to be there, feel lucky to be there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's really true. And there are a lot of workers that are in the clubs that, you know, they're younger. They're 18, 19, 20. So a lot of them, you know, they're still developing their politics. You know, they're still developing a framework of how they see their work and how they see their livelihoods, you know, if they have any sort of political ideas about the way that they make money and the way that they pay their bills, because a lot of them don't. You know, a lot of them are young and haven't really taken the time to think about it that much. And so that's part of the barrier of trying to have these conversations with other dancers in the club, is that you're speaking to a lot of apolitical people who are just there to, you know, they're not really there to talk to other dancers. They're just there to hustle and make their money and go home.
Right. They're paying their bills. They're not in the position that like somebody at McDonald's would be in, where they don't have the money. It is very hard to tell somebody, or it might, I can imagine it would be difficult to get somebody to understand that, you know, it could always be better. You know, like if you're making a lot of money, they probably, a lot of people just tend to think like, hey, you know, I make a lot of money. This is great. I can buy whatever I want. I'm not being exploited or anything like that. I am by my boss. I'm not saying sex work is inherently exploitive. I'm saying that, like, in the same way that everybody is exploited by their boss, it's probably a lot harder to get somebody to see that they're being exploited when they're able to make their rent and have some left over and aren't struggling for money, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And being in the club, working as a stripper, it's a dynamic where it's either feast or famine. You know, you're either walking out of the club between like $500 to $1,000 a night, like in a good season, or you're walking out of the club in debt to the club, because we have to pay to work every night. And so if we don't make that money back while we're in the club, like, we're indebted to the club, and we have to make that money back if we want to keep working there. So when you have like good seasons and bad seasons, I think people convince themselves, you know, even if the working conditions are bad, even if they're walking out of the club in the red every night, even if, you know, there are no customers in their club and they're fighting with management and management is just like up their ass about following the rules in the club, like, people still will always try to say like, oh, well, next week will be better. You know, it always gets better. So next week will be better. Even if it's really fucking bad, everybody always says, well, next week will be better. And a lot of the times they're right. A lot of the times, you know, next week will be better. And so they kind of oscillate back and forth between being really pissed off about how fucked up working in the club is, and then just being like, oh, well, I made, you know, $800 tonight, so it's fine. I'm going home and going to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, if you make $800 one night in a week, you're probably doing okay, you know? Do you mind me asking, like, what you have to pay the club? Like, you don't have to give exact numbers or anything, but what kind of, like, ballpark area would you have to pay a club?
Yeah, I can be specific. The first home club that I worked at for almost 2 years, the base payment to the club, it was $25 up front to work in the club. And then you had to tip out the DJ, the manager, and what's called a house mom, which is basically just a woman manager that keeps up with like the dancers in the dressing room. Okay. So 25 plus 30, you're looking at $55 every time that you're working in the club. And that's on the low end. Like, I worked at a club with pretty low house fees. And so every night, $55, that's what I owed the club up front. But for example, if I wanted to leave early, I had to pay, you know, $20 for every hour that I wanted to leave early. Or if I sold a VIP room that night, then I was expected to tip more because they see you making more money. So the more money that you make, the more that they're going to pressure you into tipping them out more, even though that's illegal. That's incredibly illegal to do that to independent contractors. Like, by law, you can't force people to tip out, like the managers and stuff like that, but they do it anyway, because if you don't give them a cut of your money, like, you get fired.
Right. What are you going to do? What, I mean, you going to go to the police or whatever? Like, they don't care, you know? Wow.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah.
I mean, like, starting out $55 in the hole, and I'm correct to assume that there's no hourly rate.
That's true. That's true. There's no hourly rate.
I mean, I sort of feel like, well, I guess it's like that with Uber, though, too. I was going to say, I sort of feel like they should have to pay you at least the tipped minimum wage, you know? So you're bringing something in. I mean, I wonder, like, I mean, do clubs make good money? I guess it sounds like it just sounds like the clubs are making a ton of fucking money.
Yeah, it's like one of the most lucrative industries.
It is.
The casinos make money,
the clubs,
True.
the clubs here where I work, they make most. I don't want to say most, because, you know, it's a cash business. There's a lot of money laundering going on in these clubs, so it's difficult to find a solid number on paper. But the club that I worked at, they made almost $5 million in alcohol sales in 1 year alone, and that's just off alcohol. That doesn't have anything to do with how the money that they got from the dancers. That doesn't have anything to do with the money from the VIP rooms sold, which is separate from the alcohol sales. So there are millions and millions of dollars going through these clubs each year here where I work. And they're just gouging the strippers for everything, you know, at every turn, from the house fee to the tip outs to everything.
Do they charge you for drinks too?
Some clubs, you have to, you have a drink quota of a minimum number of drinks that you have to sell to the customers. And if you don't make that quota, that's part of the debt that you owe the club.
Wait, one more time?
In some clubs, you have what's called a drink quota. So you have to sell a certain number of drinks to the customers in the club. And if you don't sell that number of drinks, then that's part of the debt that you owe the club.
I actually always wondered why they would ask for, like, drinks. Yeah. Because it was like, well, I mean, because I remember thinking drinks must be code for private dance. You know what I mean? And so, like some magnanimous guy, I would say, no, you can just get a drink. I don't need a dance. You know what I mean? But then it turns out they were just probably trying to sell actual drinks, you know?
Yeah, so some of them have quotas.
I would.
So just buying a drink like that isn't, you know, obviously, like, ideally for every stripper, you know, they're selling VIP rooms every night, but even just selling the drinks is part of the expectation of us working there, that we got to sell drinks too.
Wow. So I'm mind blown by all of this stuff, and I hope you call more. Marla, we would love to hear from you more often, and the next time we'll get you on quicker. We won't make you wait on hold and stuff. I just followed you on Twitter. It's Pro Peach on Twitter, and thank you so much for calling. And is there anything else we can point people in a direction of?
I just want to plug my upcoming Substack one more time. That's marlacruz.substack.com. I'm coming out with my first piece this week about how the policing of sex work affects strippers and why we got to support the full decrim of sex work. But yeah, just find me on Twitter at pearlpeach.com, and I will absolutely come back once I'm back in the club, maybe next month.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what's going on.
And you do realize you have to write one article about cancel culture every 2 weeks when you're on Substack. I'm just letting you know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the terms and conditions when you sign up.
Yeah. Thanks for calling, Marla. It was great to meet you.
It was great talking to you guys.
Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Oh, that was a good call.
Yeah.
I biffed that so bad.
What'd
she
you
says
do?
the name because I didn't check the list of people that were supposed to call.
Oh. Well, she didn't seem mad at you.
No, I know she wasn't.
But let's get another call in.
All right. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, is this me?
This
Yeah,
is you.
it's you.
Who's this?
Dope. This is Matt from Memphis again.
What's up, Matt? How's truck driving school?
So I actually called in because I have an update on trucker school.
Okay, how is it? Or what's going on?
So they actually washed me out of the program because apparently like 6 days of going from zero experience to passing your CDL is a little fast. But upside of that is that that I don't have to work for this specific company that gave me like $5,000 worth of training for free and paid me for it. And yeah, everything's coming up Millhouse pretty much.
Oh, so now you can just get a trucking job and you're already trained and everything, but you can still get a trucking job now?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Like, I can find another company to finish out my training and get my CDL through that will actually pay me more money.
Nice.
Which seems pretty dope. So yeah, like if anyone wants to get their CDL, this is my scam advice to them: is go somewhere and then be shitty enough that they bail you out of the program.
Did you ever get to drive the truck?
Yeah, a bunch of times, man. It was a little terrifying at first. Like these trucks, the ones I was driving, have 10 different gears that you have to go through, Jesus. And the first 5 of them, the fastest you're going to go is 10 miles per hour.
Fuck.
And you have to get it down to that first 5 gears anytime you stop, and you have to get up to the higher gears anytime you're trying to get moving. So it's a lot of stuff you got to do, apparently.
These motherfuckers can't make an automatic transmission?
Moving.
Like, what's going on here?
Well, like, that's kind of the new thing is a lot of companies are switching over to automatic transmissions now, but if you only train with the automatic transmission, then you have a restriction on your license that says you can only drive the automatic. So you kind of want the skill so you have, the opportunity to go wherever the hell you want to go as far as driving goes.
This is a floor. It's like a floor shifter. You're like rowing through 10 fucking gears.
Yeah, and every time you shift, you got a double clutch. So you're not just going straight into the gear. You're going into neutral and then going into the gear that you want to go into.
Oh.
So
I got a question.
It's a lot of...
I have a technical question for you. How much of a bitch is it to back those things up?
It sucks.
Yeah. That sounds like the worst part there.
Man, like the coolest feeling I ever had, though, in this trucker school experience is I didn't so much like the trainer that I had initially. Like, he was kind of a dickhead in a lot of ways that were inadvertent, but like just rubbed me the wrong way. Like right out the gate, let me know that me having my hammer and sickle badge on my Yashanka hat, which was important to have because it was snowing the first 3 days I was up there in Wisconsin. But yeah, he was like, "Do you have another hat?" And I I knew things were going to go bad pretty much from there. And then, like, just dude was unloading a bunch of misogyny and homophobia and stuff. Like, every time we got in and out of the truck, he'd say bullshit like, ladies first. Yeah, as if that was like a super clever and funny thing.
Yeah.
That he'd come up with, or like anytime like someone talked about a car or a truck, he'd be like, "Oh, I didn't know you had a husband." like that was like some cute joke that he'd brilliantly invented. And I kind of called him out for it. Like, he'd given me his number, and I'd gotten surveys from the company and stuff about how things were going midway through the training. And I wasn't about to snitch on him there because I just don't believe in snitching. But I did, like, send him some feedback on, like, hey, like, maybe don't do that going forward, man. But yeah, as far as the training goes, like it was pretty cool when I got driving with a guy that wasn't this person, because we just talked about unions and stuff the whole time.
Nice.
And like how awful it is that like trucking now has all this nanny state bullshit, like, which I'm sure like there's good and bad about, like, but it's back in the day, you didn't have a camera pointed at your face that was constantly recording you, and all these sensors tattling on you anytime you have to do anything that the sensors say is bad to avoid an accident or whatever. And like I very much liked Bob, my trainer that was cool that I had for a few days. Did not so much like Russ. But yeah, man, if anyone's interested in trucking, definitely go to a program and make them fire you.
That sounds great.
My street fight advice.
I love it. That sounds
because
great.
Then you get the training for free, and you don't have to commit 2 years of your life for driving for a company that's probably going to be obnoxious.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, like I wasn't gonna name drop a company I was talking positively about a couple weeks ago when I called in, but if y'all will allow, I will name drop a company disparagingly.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, rail transportation, bunch of nerds, jerks and nerds, and.
Well, I'll never do business with them. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, we will never do business with them. Well,
there
Matt,
we go. Got on the street fight shit list. I'm glad.
Yeah, they're busted. But thanks for calling in. We have to we got 15 minutes left, so we gotta get the next calls.
Thank y'all so much for getting me in.
Hey, thanks for calling. Have a good night.
You too.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right, last call.
Last call.
This evening I took the call, the one that ends them all. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Who's this?
Oh my god, that's me. I feel kind of guilty because I'm a very recent listener.
Oh, I thought you were listen.
You know what's good about that is I thought you were going to say I felt kind of guilty because I'm a very racist listener. So
No,
recent sounds good.
I'm that guy's truck driver instructor, and I just feel really bad. I treated him so terribly. No, just kidding.
The funny thing about like the when he was saying like, you know, you got a camera pointed in your face, it's like, yeah, you also used to be able to just fucking load up on speed. They called it white line fever, and it sounded sweet.
I just thought he was going to do a Jeffrey Toobin tack of like, yeah, we used to jerk off while trucking all the time. Because that's just like what I assumed truckers did, but...
They have to jerk off while they have to... 100% for sure they jack off. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They still wear those headsets. You know what I mean? That's the weirdest thing to me. Is like my brother-in-law is a truck driver. And he pulled up yesterday in a Toyota Prius with one of those stupid trucker headsets on, and I was like, me and my daughter like really made fun of him.
Who?
My brother-in-law. Just
why?
I guess he was still wearing it from work.
Like leather jacket on like a tricycle or something. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was funny. So what's up?
So I actually, for the first time in like a year, I hung out with a group of new people last night, and I was like completely manic. Like I was finally vaccinated, and I was like, oh great, I'll socialize. And I was like talking too loud, being inappropriate. But I told a story that I don't often tell because I kind of hate when people are like, oh, you know, I helped an old lady across the street and made some food. Like when people just want a whole bunch of attaboys.
Uh-huh.
So I used to work. So I've had like kind of like labor intensive jobs. Like I was a bike messenger. Which, you know, I got hit by cars a lot, and I live in Chicago, and I worked as a vet tech for a while, and that's like a really physically intense job. And I got attacked by a dog and had like kind of bad PTSD, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try an office job because it seems easy as shit. So I got an office job doing FMLA, like family medical leave, and I was kind of stupid going into it because I didn't think about how I was going to be working for the companies who are going to like obviously want to deny all the people. So I was working for a company whose client was like, to be non-specific, because I'm pretty sure I signed something that said I wouldn't do this, but it was like the most hated cable company we'll go with in the Midwest.
Comcast.
And they hated, yes, it was really Comcastic. And so FMLA is unpaid leave that's guaranteed at a federal level and changes per state. And I was working there, and I just realized like they wanted us to deny whenever we could. And so once I realized that I couldn't do this damn job because the propaganda there worked so well, like during training, they'd be like, migraines are impossible to like prove that you're not happening. Like you can get a CT scan and still have migraines. So a lot of people will claim they have migraines. And people would be so resentful about people trying to get off work but not get paid. They just didn't want to lose their insurance.
Oh, God.
And so I didn't see why people wanted to deny people all the time. Like, they'd be like, oh, this guy's claiming he's too depressed to work. And I'm like, yeah, he probably is. His job sucks. Everyone hates his company. And, like, just to prove he's not getting any money out of this anyway. And, like, we had a sheet that said, like, if someone threatens suicide, this is what you do. And I was like, this job is soul-suckingly horrible. So I was there for, like, a couple months, and I was like, all right, screw it. I'm going to get as many people leave as I can, and then I'm just going to, like, bounce. This is horrible. So I would be on the phone with people who would just, like, be one word off from being able to get leave. Like, I think it was Pennsylvania. If you're a victim of domestic violence, you have like 30 days off work to get like medical treatment and find a new apartment away from your abuser, and then you're done. Unless you have to appear in court, you get like 3 more months or something. And this girl was on the phone with me. She was like so upset. She'd gone through this horrible ordeal and she couldn't find an apartment. She was like, I need to get to the shelters early enough, but I can't lose my job because I'll lose my insurance. And I had to say on the recorded line, like, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. And then I would immediately get up from my cubicle and go in like an empty conference room and call her on my cell phone and just be like, call back, or I'm going to call you back to confirm something, and just say I have to go to court.
That's incredible. Bravo.
That is
you deserve a round of applause.
They don't confirm it, and they can't. And like, for just anyone listening, never sign a release to let them talk to your doctor for FMLA. I don't know disability as well, but for FMLA, if you don't sign the release, like HIPAA laws say we can't call your doctor. So you can say like, I have a unicorn growing out of my head, like a unicorn horn, and I need it removed. And if a doctor signs that paper, it's fine. So if it looks suspicious, we might like pressure you to sign a release, and then the doctor will say, yeah, no, that's made up. They forged my signature. But you can get away with a whole lot with like the major companies. And that job was terrible, and I quit, and then COVID happened. So that was great, but I'm not like actively like getting scolded for not screwing people over anymore. So that's a bit of a benefit, but
it's actually interesting. You know, one of the first things you said on the call was really funny to me, because I had your same inclination about an office job. I had been working, you know, blue collar jobs, and then a lot of service industry work, and I just said, you know what, my dream is an office job. I just want to go to a place and sit down. That's all I cared about, because I had just, you know, my body was already breaking down when I'm like 25, you know, I'm just exhausted. So I finally get an office job, which is a call center, and it was the same exact thing. It was just getting screamed at all day. And it was like,
and it's so easy too, though. Like the work is, you don't have to work that much. And when you're working, like I've worked in restaurants, bike messenger, and vet tech, and like you're on your feet all the time. You're never not working. And in an office, I'm like, my work is all done by 2. So I just started sleeping in my cubicle. I would like hang my coat, and because all my work was done, because I'm used to having to work all the goddamn time. And then I got this job, and my partner, I would come home. I used to come home from vet med, and like, he'd be like, how was your day? And I'll be like, well, we amputated a dog's leg. And then last night, I really inappropriately told this group of new people that we used to take the labial trimmings from dogs and like form them into a heart and like send it as a Valentine and stuff. Like,
what the fuck?
Stuff. Oh God, yeah. Vet med is like the darkest and most fun and saddest, and like the suicide rate's really high and it's really complicated, but really fun. But yeah, and like FMLA, I was like, yeah, I know medical note taking. I'll go into this. This is super easy. And then it was super easy, but I was just like, screw it. Like literally, one guy was crying because he was about to lose his job, and I had to get permission from my manager to call his boss just to confirm that everything was fine or he was going to get fired. And my boss said I couldn't do it. And I was like, well, what's she going to do? And so I went into the conference room, called on my cell phone, and asked his boss to call my extension and just say like, hey, I just wanted to confirm blah, blah, blah. And so he kept his job. It was just, and it wasn't like I was some hero at all. Like I didn't want credit for it. I just like mentioned it in passing, and they were like, you should call it a street fight. I was like, what's street fight? So I spent the whole day today listening to y'all's old episodes, and I was just like, oh, this is cool. And then my internet punked out, and I was like, well, I'll just call it, and so I can listen to it on the phone. And so, yeah, this worked out. Anyways, you guys are dope as hell. I really like this podcast.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're amazing. You were already Street Fight. When I worked doing collections in Discover Card, they put me on the over limit team, and there'd be somebody that would have $1,000 credit limit and a $5,000 balance, and every single month they would get a $35 over limit fee. So once I got fed up and started hearing about like people's impossible situation and like all these credit cards that were opened up by like parents that didn't tell their kids and they're on the hook for it, or there's like husbands would open them up and in their wife's name, and then they get a divorce and it's all on her. So what I would do is I would say, you set up like 5 years of payments with me of $10 a month. And what I'm allowed to do technically in the system is if I schedule a payment, I can credit you back an over limit fee. So if you pay me $10, I will take a $35 over limit fee off, you know, and then if there's any extra money you can throw at it, that'll take the balance down. But at least we can reverse the last fucking 5 years of over limit fees.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I'm going to try and use that like immediately.
I mean, like, that is the
I've
move.
been unemployed for a year. That sounds awesome.
How much longer do you have left? Are you like running up against it? What's your plan for after the unemployment?
Well, my partner's a veteran, and he's a hilarious veteran. I overheard him on the phone with his mom the other day going, and it's fucking bullshit. These veterans keep voting for people who don't give a shit about them, because he's uninsured and I'm uninsured. And like, I have like bad kidneys, and I have a kidney stone right now, and it's just like, I'm just like pretending that's not the case, because I'm not going to the fucking hospital. Like, the last time I did, I had insurance and I ended up with $6,000 in debt. Like, I'm not going now. So I'm just like trying to figure it out. Might go back to vet med part-time. When I say I got attacked by a dog, it was like pretty bad. Like, be nice to dogs though. It wasn't the dog's fault. All dogs are great. Blah, blah, blah. Dogs are great. Adopt a dog. But, yeah, I'm figuring it out. I might go back part-time, maybe rob a bank. I don't really know, but we've got money from the VA a little bit, so that kind of helps, but not much. Chicago's expensive, and I got to do street medic throughout the year because like it was nice to treat people who weren't trying to bite me. That was like a first for me, and I had like a little bit of medical experience, but yeah, just figuring it out. Just getting like radicalized on Twitter, like to an aggressive degree. Like, well, and it's been pretty good.
Let's do this. First, we'll get your Twitter thing, but also I will follow you on Twitter when we are going to perform in Chicago sooner than later, right, Brett? I mean, there's just fucking no way we're not going to. It's our driving distance big city, and we'll get you in for free. We'll get you on the list and stuff, and you can come in and hang out. I would love to meet you. What you did was fucking awesome.
I would love that. And hey, shout out to JP and all of his friends I met last night and made uncomfortable, who were like, call into Street Fight, they'll love that story. They didn't mean the labia story, but I managed to get it on here anyway, so that's cool too.
Hey, I like the labia story. Yeah. I was a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Well, what's your Twitter name?
Yeah. It's don't like sour, and my tweets aren't good, so don't expect anything good.
No, I'm gonna expect the best. But thanks for calling in.
I'm gonna start writing sonnets.
That was really great, and I appreciate you calling in. So and giving us a chance. It's really cool. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. Thanks.
Yeah, have a good one. Peace.
I followed her. She will get into our Chicago show free. Hey, Chicago people, don't get crazy about it. We still have other stuff in the way before we can do shows. But Chicago's, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Columbus, Detroit. If you're in one of those places or down in Kentucky, you might get a Street Fight show fairly soon. We're ready to see your bright, shiny, beautiful faces again.
Yeah, sorry. I thought there was a caller on the line.
No, we're done.
Thanks for listening to Street Fight. If you want to remember, the music was House of Teeth. You can find them on Bandcamp. Follow Peach Prole. Follow Don't Like Sour. And anybody else that called in. Great show. We appreciate all the information. Hope you all have a wonderful week. We'll see you on Wednesday. We're Street Fight. Peace.
Oh.